What is up? What is up? Thank you for being here. Had a little 10-minute intro. If you guys have been waiting very long, I apologize, but thanks for being here. Welcome to Knocked Up After the Shot. I am Justin, for those of you who are new to us and new to the community, but just want to thank you guys for being here. A little bit of housekeeping first. If you guys don't, make sure you hit that sub button and ring that like if you guys are enjoying the content and enjoying these after the shots. You can go listen and watch all of them here on YouTube or on Spotify. We just started a new series, Behind the String, which is a React video series where we react to all of our hunting videos, and we're going to do some more in the future. So that'll be fun. We got another episode releasing, I believe, on Tuesday this week, so you guys make sure to check that out. Jump over to Instagram and TikTok. Make sure you hit the follow there, one or the other. You know, there's so many apps you can follow people on. I'm only asking for one or the other. That way you can keep up with the day-to-day activity with us and make sure you get all the content. So I think that's all I got on my end. Today I'm going to be talking to a really good friend as of, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago now, somewhere in the ballpark, who has entered my life and been a big part of my success in different ways, and just kind of become a close friend through my wife, actually. So I'll bring him in and we'll start doing the thing. If you guys got any questions, make sure you hop in the chat. We will answer questions at the end or kind of when time allows or whatnot. And yeah, thank you for being here, and let's get after it. But without further ado, I will introduce my good buddy, Mr. John Rettenmeier. What's up, brother?
How are you?
Good. I appreciate you being here.
No, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
sweet deal. Well, let's get after it. You know how it goes. After the shot, brother.
Yes, sir.
Cheers. Whew. I'll get you going. Every time, man. First shot of the day. Every time it gets me hard. Oh, my goodness. Sipping on a little bit of the same thing we did last time, if you guys were here. The Volan's tequila. So that was a good time. Well, John is a high-performance athlete trainer. How do you label yourself?
Keep it simple. We just say coach. We'll just
Coach?
be coach anywhere from mainly youth athletes all the way up to professional athletes, that entire range there.
Okay.
That's kind of been my bread and butter, and then looking to start, I wouldn't say diversify, we're going to open it up a little bit more and help more people, if you will. So
Yeah, no, that's cool.
talk about that a little later, though.
Yeah, John and I met, like I said, about, I guess 5 years ago now? What do you think? 5, 6 years ago? I mean,
I'd say
hell,
5 or
Jess
6,
and I
yeah.
have been
Right in that
Jess and
range.
I have been married for almost 5 years, and so after college, my wife and I moved up to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and she was doing an internship at a place called Michael Johnson Performance Center. They train high-performance athletes in the Frisco area, or trained, I guess I should say, high-performance athletes in the Frisco area. And my wife was working there and met John. He was one of the coaches there. And also his now wife was what did she do?
Physical therapist.
A physical
assistant.
therapist
Yep.
assistant there. So met both of them, and you know how things do when you're a couple. You just kind of start hanging out, and here we are. So it's been a fun ride.
It's still crazy to think about that. It's just 5 or 6 years ago, we were just at MJP, and the girls started chatting as girls do, and one thing led to the next, and we're hanging out, and
now we're here.
It's cool how
both
how life works.
Yeah, both of us are married.
Yep.
Neither one of you work at MJP.
Mm.
Jess has nothing to do with the field. We have a kid. I mean, it's just in a span of 5 years.
It's crazy.
It's
how
been
things
wild.
happen.
It's been
crazy.
fun though. But I'm glad that situation happened, and brought us together, especially. So it's been fun. So, I guess for the people, you already kind of mentioned that you just label yourself as a coach, but I mean, what do you do? Where did you start with it? So start with your MJP. So like, why did you go there? What did you want to do with it? What did you get to accomplish there? And what does that kind of led into?
Yeah. So let's see. I'll rewind it a little bit. I'm from the Northeast, from Connecticut.
Yeah.
I went to school up there. Actually lived up there my entire life. Went to school up there. And then I worked right out of school at a more of a franchise or a chain, if you will, called Velocity Sports Performance. There's actually a cool little backstory to that of how I even got into this field.
Yeah, go for it.
And really, so when I was younger, probably high school.
Okay.
I'm gonna say high school range, give or take in that age. I was fortunate enough to get this performance training. And two of my mentors were actually my coaches at the time, and I was with them from. Go ahead.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You were to get this, so you got performance training from somebody else.
Yes.
You weren't giving it.
No.
Okay.
This was
Got
high school, so I was getting it as an athlete.
That's what I thought.
I was really focused on soccer, so I wanted to take.
Really?
Yes.
That's news to me. We've been friends for this long. I had no idea that you were focused on soccer.
Yep.
I always know you as a track guy. We'll talk about that, but
yep.
yeah.
Soccer was my number one sport. Played it as many of us do since we're yay tall, and
yeah.
I was trying to go play in college, and had a couple offers and stuff like that and again, Connecticut, so smaller schools up there, private schools, whatnot, but I was able to play at the next level, which would have been amazing. So I was training at this place called Velocity Sports Performance, and there were two coaches there. One's name is Ned, and the other one's name is Dave, and they had trained me for years on years. And I remember there was one day where it was at a different location. They had opened up their kind of new spot.
Okay.
And I was talking to the gentleman, Ned, and he was like, "Hey, I think you should really look into this strength and conditioning field." So that's kind of what I ended up
as a pursuit for education.
As a pursuit for education,
okay.
and like, hey, you understand this stuff. You're a great athlete. You can demonstrate it. You can perform it. You have like a basic knowledge around it.
Right.
I think you should look into this as your education, as your career. So I gave some thought to it, and then that kind of got me. And when I was in school, I ended up studying it. And then after I graduated, I went back to a Velocity Sports Performance in New York, where he was actually I'm going to call him a manager. He was the director there.
Sure.
So kind of a full circle. So
yeah.
He kind of took me back under his wing, kind of taught me the ropes on the coaching side of things, and did that for a year.
After college,
yes. Ended up leaving a year and a half or so into it. Moved down to Alabama, so that was my first little taste of the South.
Yeah.
I did a lot of automotive stuff, and we'll talk about kind of the racing and automotive and how that's a big part of my life. And
so your first taste of the South was literally the belly of the South.
Oh yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. Well,
I mean,
a little north of it, but yeah. Oh yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, let me dabble in a little South Carolina.
Nope.
Go maybe a little South Texas where you got a little twang. It was like, nah, we're gonna go to the South.
So.
How was that coming from Connecticut?
That is the first question almost everyone asked me. It was how to explain it.
I mean, because I would consider you, northern boy.
Everyone was very nice.
Yeah.
A lot of sirs, ma'ams, holding the door. Thank you. Very, very polite.
Something we don't get a lot today. Take notes.
Unfortunately. But the hospitality was a bit different. But other than that, Alabama was beautiful. When I was down there, we were in a nice area right at the end of that mountain range coming down through. So I was like, this is, I wouldn't say like home, but it kind of has that home feeling. Physically, exactly. And then I was there for about a year and a half. I was with my dad, and then realized I missed coaching. I missed what I went to school for. I missed it. There was still that burning desire. And I don't know how I found Michael Johnson Performance. I don't know. Like, I can't go back and be like, oh, really? Yeah, I don't remember.
Because when you're in Alabama, and there was only one branch, right? It was in Frisco-ish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Frisco.
Yep.
And you're in Alabama, and you just happenstance came over here.
So I don't know if I was just on the internet looking up just performance facilities or track and field, whatever it may have been, but having competed in track and field for a couple of years and knowing the name Michael Johnson, it was just kind of put two and two together. And I was like, sent an email in, and a gentleman named Drew got back to me and set up an externship with a group over the summer of 2016, and never looked back.
Way back when.
It's still crazy to think that it was almost 6 years ago that I came. I was like, how on earth?
Wild. That's crazy.
And then
that's crazy.
Since then, it's just been, what has happened, I would have never. It's like one of those things where you don't expect it. You'd be like, oh yeah, I would love for this to happen. I'd love for all of this, and you just don't expect it. And just again, how life
came about.
Happens exactly how it came about.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now in Connecticut, before you moved down, you went to UConn.
Correct.
And ran some track and field. Ran some track. Is that would be the verb? Ran some track and field.
Yeah.
I am disconnected from that sport for sure. You want to talk football all day long? You know what I'm saying? But ran track and field up there. I mean, coming from soccer, in my head, that's a pretty easy switch. But why track? Like, how'd you get into track and field? And why? Like, to me, I hate running so much. Like, I hate it. I hate just like running down the hall to like grab something when you're running late, and you got the truck started outside, and it's like, oh shit, I forgot this, and you run inside and grab something. I come back to the truck and I'm like, like I just can't stand it. Man. So why track and field, or track more specifically? You didn't do any of the field.
I ask that question myself a lot too. No, and it's kind of funny. My buddies, especially in the college time, are like, man, we hate running. Like, we'll get to practice, man, we hate running, but it's the competing. Yeah, okay. Stepping up against someone, or if you're on a relay team and going from there. But no, it was. I mean, soccer was all my life outside of when you're younger. I mean, baseball up until high school, and basketball in high school a little bit as well. And I think it came senior year, soccer was pretty much finished outside of premier club soccer outside of school. And people are like, oh, yeah, you should try out indoor track and field my senior year. I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try it out.
Right.
Exactly. Did pretty well for our high school and kind of the small state Connecticut sort of a deal, and then didn't end up competing my freshman year of college. I actually had either a very serious strain or a slight tear of my adductor. We were playing a game in high school. We were playing like Sharks and Minnows before track practice, and I tried to make a
jacking around as most injuries happen.
Exactly, and boom, the thing just. I was like,
so what's an adductor?
Adductor, like your groin.
Okay.
So kind of the inside of the leg, just working down there, and man, oh man, that was one thing I never want to deal with again. That
sounds terrible.
I mean, between that, anything that like torn hamstring. I mean, anything if it's a slight tear. I mean, it's just no.
I've pulled a hammy before, never like tore.
I mean, it's still anything along that range is just we could do without it. But it happens a lot in sport, and it's one of those things where it either A, just happens, or it could be due to the preparation, but there's so many different reasons and ways and whys that...
I mean, at that point, you were probably... I mean, not probably. You were at the top of your athletic, physical game, stretching out. I mean, you're a runner, and then to pull your... I mean, it's just like NFL athletes, right? They go out, and they're in top physical peak performance, mid-season form, and, cut the wrong way or whatever, and all of a sudden torn Achilles or pulled a hamstring or pulled their calf, or
sometimes those things.
Or who at the beginning of the year at the NFL this year, J.J. Watt, like game 2, just tears his pec. I mean, the dude is a physical specimen, and it like tears most likely one of the biggest muscles on that dude's body.
It's sometimes they get in a wrong.
And he hit a couple arm circles before the game, like what?
He did something to warm up a little bit. I mean, he had to. No, sometimes it's just the wrong position at the wrong time. One thing happens after the next, and it just body can't take it. But no, I mean, track and field was my senior year, and then freshman year of college, I just did a little bit of club soccer, a lot of recreational soccer on that side. It was a lot of friends or buddies that were at my high school that ended up going to UConn as well.
Okay.
And we were playing. It was a bit more relaxed. It was more fun. You're just out there messing around with buddies, playing a game that you love, and you want to just keep on playing. And after freshman year, I kind of just sat down and just thought about it. Man, I just missed that next level of competitiveness.
Yeah.
And I had been in touch with Coach Roy, the former head coach at UConn for track and field, and at least a men's coach. And he's like, yeah, this is what I need you to do. Train throughout the summer. When you come back in the fall, he's like, you've got one shot. You're going to run a 400-meter dash. You got one and done. He's like, if you run sub, I don't remember what it was. I'm saying
sub fast.
Sub 50, sub 51, something like that at the end of summer. And then
51?
He's like, then we'll have a chat about it. I was like, okay, sounds good. So trained all summer. Again, going back to Ned was there, Dave was there, and another guy, we call him Slim. He was there. He's actually a head coach up north as well. And they just got me prepared that entire summer. And my parents helped me out as well. They brought me to the track when we would, or they were just kind of making sure I was going to the track is what it was.
Yeah,
making sure I was doing the workouts.
When you're 18.
Exactly.
Hey.
And they were there doing their own thing, and then along came that one day where it was a walk-on tryout my sophomore year, and man, I was shitting bricks.
Really?
I walk out there and I'm warming up, and all of a sudden the entire track team walks out there, 50 to 70 something people strong. I mean, all events,
That's a
and this is in
boatload.
this is in the fall too, so there's cuts and stuff like that occur, but bunch of guys walk out and they're all kind of doing their lap and warming up and stuff like that, and you're kind of sitting there just waiting.
The new kid on the block.
So then coach kind of calls everyone over, and here we go. There's 2 or 3 people. I think there were only 2 people running, myself and another gentleman. And he's like, okay. He's like, go ahead. We're going to line up on the line. Coach Roy was quite short at times, as in just with his words. Just a couple quick words and going from there. And
okay, let's get after it.
Line up on the line, and said go, clap, whatever it was. And boom, had a stopwatch. Waiting at the end of it. He's like, okay, I'll see you in my office tomorrow at 3:30. And then broke the news. And so walked on my sophomore year, competed sophomore through senior year. And
do you remember what you ended up running in that time trial?
Oh, goodness.
No.
I'm going to say 50 points something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was half a second faster than what he needed or something like that. Just in that time frame, he's like, okay, yeah, we'll talk. And then you fold right into the team, and I was just an idiot. I had no idea. Talk about like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. I was part of the 400 meter group, so there was probably, let me say, 5 to 10 people strong, give or take.
Okay.
And I don't know if I just didn't catch what he was saying or whatever it may have been. I don't know. But I go and I start warming up and starting training with the multi. So like the decathletes, the heptathletes and stuff like that. I started training with them. And I'm looking at these guys like, these are big 400 meter guys. So I was there for probably like 2 weeks. And I bet coach was looking at this guy and be like, he'll figure it out at some point. And then it got to one day where I don't know what happened. I was like, I need to be in that group, not that group. And I'm still the
walk on.
I don't know how exactly the walk on. This guy has no idea what he's doing. So
did you only run the 400? End up
400, 200 were kind of the main 2. Sophomore, junior year, senior year, did those 2, and then I probably should have done it a little bit earlier. Tried 400 hurdles. I am not mobile whatsoever in order to do that. More so sprinted between the hurdles, tried to get over the hurdle. Again, didn't look very pretty.
Because the hurdles, it's a sprint all the way through, and when you jump the hurdle, it's more. Please correct me if I'm wrong or when I'm wrong. But when you jump the hurdle, it's more of just an extension of your stride than it is a jump.
You're trying to make it as smooth as you can.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When you watch like Olympic athletes, it doesn't even look like. I always, for whatever reason, I cue in on this. Like in Olympic athletes, when they do the hurdles, regardless of distance, and they jump, their hips never move. It's like from hips up. Their arms are moving, sure, whatever. Their chest is moving because they're breathing or whatever. But if you were to just like break it down on your TV and watch the 100-meter hurdles and draw a line at the first dude's hip perfectly level, the hips never like they're running and then they jump and they don't ever go up and down. It's just flat. And I just don't understand.
Maybe a little oscillation.
Am I right?
The hurdles are so high.
Right. Like minimal. But you're not like it would. If I would jump over a hurdle, it'd be a foot and a half. And
just try to get over the thing. Yeah. Try not to wreck your knee in it. But it's
probably be a barrel roll.
When you see the Olympics after doing something, and it's I bet anyone after a sport that they did and you watch it professionally, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's just like holy. That level is insane. It is just wild. It's unbelievable how talented that top level is, and it's
I guess you said it for any sport, like you said.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like I played baseball growing up my whole life, and you watch an MLB game, it's like wow, that was impressive.
That's a sport that not that I haven't had enough appreciation for it, but this offseason, this will be a story that we'll talk about, that I just have a bit more of an appreciation. I've always known how tough it is, especially at bat, and it's just have a little bit more appreciation now than I once did, and more of I won't say an understanding, but just seeing it, just like, oh my god, what?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have an appreciation for the sport, if they've never played. Or if they've never been around it. Mm-hmm. It's long, it's boring as hell if you don't understand it. I'm on the train. Like people who don't get it or don't like sports at all, baseball would not be the first sport that I put on TV to show you, hey, let's get into sports. From baseball.
What would be the first sport, if you had to say?
Man.
Now, even coming from baseball.
The first, growing up in Texas in the South, I go immediately to football. It just seems the most high paced and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But honestly, if I had to say it, I truthfully think if I were going to sit somebody down, I'd probably throw hockey in front of them.
That's actually a good one.
One,
I wouldn't have thought about that.
because it's the same rules as, not the same rules, don't jump all over me, YouTube or whatever, if you're watching this on TikTok. It's not the same rules. I get there on ice and shit, like chill out. But it's the same general rules as soccer and basketball. You have a ball, puck, whatever, an objective you're trying to score in a goal or a basket. Mm-hmm. So the idea to wrap around these 5 guys and that goalie and these 5 guys and that goalie have to get this puck into that goal. That's all you have to show somebody. They don't need to know offsides. They don't need to know anything else. Like, it's the same thing with soccer. These 11 guys, or I get what, 11 in a goalie? 11 in a goal. I should know that, just played soccer 11, in college. 11.
Yeah. Goalie's in that 11.
She doesn't watch these, so we're good. My wife had a full ride to play soccer in college, and I just asked how many people were on the field.
Here, we got to put it into FIFA terms. If you were to have your lineup, your formation, what would it be? There we go.
Yeah, 4-3-4 or whatever.
Let's do the math. There we go.
Wait, is that 4? Yeah, that's right. So get this ball into that goal. Basketball, get this ball. Like, it's the most simple, but it's the most high-paced and fun out of basketball. And I think hockey would be the one that I'd throw in front of somebody.
That's actually a good
It's not a whole lot of rules. It's just like get the puck into the net. You see a bunch of people hitting each other, passing, shooting. And you could sit there for 20 minutes and be like, okay, I could probably get into this.
Yeah.
Football, it's like, okay, why did they do that? They ran it this time. Why didn't they throw it that time?
Yeah.
You know, there's different.
A little more intricate.
Baseball would be the last thing I would show anybody. There's so many ins and outs. Like, I watch a game, and I know what all the players are thinking at any given moment, before a pitch, during the play, because I've been there. I've done that. I went through that in college. So before the pitch happens, I'm like, okay, this is, 6 different things are happening. And I played catcher in high school and then moved to shortstop in college. Oh God, so I was always the quarterback, whether it was of the entire field or of the infield. Like catcher, shortstop, and center field, depending on how your coach wants to structure the team, are your captains of that realm, right? Generally speaking. So I always had to know what everybody was doing at all times within my realm, because I was always the captain of that deal. So before the pitch happens, on TV, it's pitchers in the windup or whatever, and I'm like, 8 different things are going through my head. And then, like, I can't sit down and enjoy a game of baseball because I'm just analyzing everything, because that's how I grew up and that's how it always was. Yeah, baseball would be the last thing I would ever show to somebody if they were trying to get into just sports in general. Yeah. It's awful. Yeah. It's so boring if you don't understand the rules. But once you understand it and have an appreciation for it, like you were saying, you may have some arguments against this because I think you're training some guys now, right? We'll get into that in a minute. But I would argue baseball is the least physically demanding sport of the major ones, at least from my experience, but the most technical and mentally demanding, whether that's technicality in physical, but you don't have to sit there and run a 4.40, or you don't have to sit there and, bench press 225 18 times like an O-line would. You don't have to do any of that. I never could. Either one of those things I stated, I've never been able to do, and I got to play in college. So, but it's the most technically sound sport, and I think you have to be, which has some appreciation to it. But anywho, yeah.
Yeah, that's something we'll talk about.
You want to drink?
Sure.
What do you want to sip on?
Let's see.
I mean, you can stick with tequila. I should probably rinse this out. Let's just do a little bit of this. Pick your poison. I don't have the formaldehyde one up here anymore, I don't think.
Oh, God, thank God.
I don't even remember what that one was.
I don't know either. I don't know if I want to remember.
I had this whiskey. Oh, yeah, I do have it. It's the smoked. Oh, it's that little bottle of Special Reserve. So this bottle right here, chat. Weller Special Reserve. I saw this thing on TikTok. That's a much great idea start. Of pouring a bottle of whiskey into a foil pan that you'd roast a turkey in, and putting it on my smoker at 180, whatever. And you let it smoke, cold smoke for I think it was an hour, 2 hours or whatever, and then I strained it and poured it back into the bottle. So I was like, oh cool, I got this smoky flavor. And I tasted it and I was like, there's something off about this. I just don't like it. Maybe it's not for me. Well, John I had given him a bottle that my little brother gave me at one point. It was a mesquite smoked Crown Royal that you told me you liked at the time. Maybe your palate has changed since then, but he came over and tried it, and so I was like, here, just take it home. Like, I'm not gonna drink this. I don't like this flavor. So I kind of thought that it was in the realm of that, and I was like, it's just too smoky. I don't like it. So John came over one time, and I was like, here, try this. If you like it, take it home. He's like, okay. He tried it, and he goes, I can't tell you what it tastes like, but the only memory I get is dissecting a frog like formaldehyde. And at that moment, I closed the bottle, put it back on the shelf, and I've never opened it again because I just can't get that out of my head.
That was, yeah. So that smell, just that distinct smell.
And he wasn't wrong. Like, after he tasted it, I was like, shut up. Like, come on, dude, formaldehyde. And I literally smelled it, and I was like, that's what it is.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. So, pick your poison. I think I'm going to stick with tequila this evening.
I don't want to kill it. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that Knob Creek that's over your right shoulder there.
Yeah. I think I got a... Is this it? No, I can't see. You got to finish that bottle so I can throw it away, okay?
Oh, God. Oh, just screwed up. Nice.
One of the most important parts about Knocked Up After the Shot is always having a beverage in your hand. So, you get to MJP. What did you expect?
I don't know. I just know that when I went into MJP that summer of 16 during an externship, so kind of like pretty much an internship. You're just not in college. You're not doing it for credit. I was doing it for more of hopefully.
So you started this the same way Jess did. It was the same program. I didn't realize that. I thought they hired you as a coach. Oh, okay.
So did that 12-week program, whatever it may have been. Yeah. And my one thought was, hey, I want to get a job out of this sort of a deal.
Sure.
Like knowing the name Michael Johnson and stuff like that. And I think one piece that I'm not sure if this is completely true on my behalf. I just putting pieces of the puzzle together, but they at one point had worked with Williams Formula One team back in the day. They were doing some work with their pit crew, and they were really doing a lot of like video analysis and looking at just how the guys, when they were changing tires, how to try to shave time off to make it faster for them is what they were trying to do.
I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm. So they had done that, and I think that may have been one way that I found MJP. And then that summer I was just like, hey, I'm here to learn as much as I can, and I want to see if I can get an opportunity out of it. And towards the end, I was balancing that with the driving academy that I was working for, and ended up the director at the time, BMAC, had reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to hire you on part-time, and started part-time for several months, not sure how long that took, and then got on full-time, and
there we were.
Went from there. Yep.
There we were. Wow.
So it was, the externship was really learning, I'm going to say the system, learning what they did there, and how, if you were to coach a class, how things would work around a facility, how to understand, I guess, the different terminology, if you will. It seems like there's a lot of different terminology in this field, which is, I'm not going to say unfortunate. There's so much that can be done, and people call it different things.
Well, I've experienced that just in a little sneak peek. John has actually been training me, giving me programs to work on that I do on a daily basis and everything like that to help up my physical stature. And I'll read some things that he puts down, and I'll have to text him because I'm like, I can't give a good example. I'll have to think about it, but it'll be like arm day or something like that, or like upper body day. He usually breaks it out into like shoulders and back or something, or it's just you're focused on muscle groups. And I'll like read something. I'm like, that's a leg exercise, John. Because the growing, like that's everything I've known, like leg exercise, whatever. Oh, it was it's still leg day, but dumbbell thrusters. Okay, you call it dumbbell thrusters, and that's like the squat to like overhead press. Cool, like that's fine. Call it thrusters, like whatever. Thrusters to me are glute bridges. Oh. So for like the first 2 weeks, I'm like doing glute bridges, and then like 2 days later is another leg day. So it's like legs, arms. I don't remember how it's programmed. Legs, arms, legs, cardio, whatever it is. And like 2 days later, it was like glute bridges. I was like, I just did these, John. Like, why am I doing these again? Like, you don't have anything else in your bag? And then I was like, I looked it up, and John has a little YouTube video links to all of his stuff. God forbid I just click on one of the links and figure it out, right? I just tried to figure it out on my own, which was dumb. And I go back and watch the dumbbell thrusters, and I was like, So I did dumbbell thrusters on glute bridge day for like 2 weeks and then switched it up. So it got done. But yeah, it was good. That's funny. Yeah, I can see how the terminology would be ridiculous.
I mean, there's even in the track and field world, you think it's okay, hey, just track and field, but there's so much. It is what it is.
Yeah,
I think it gets confusing for athletes because you'll hear
yeah.
certain people say one thing and then they go to practice. So if you're working with a coach and let's just say a performance coach and they're saying one thing, then you go to your practice and now the coach is saying another thing, and then you go somewhere else and they're saying it's just and you're doing the same exact thing. It's
all the same stuff.
It's all the same stuff, just different. It is what it is.
Yeah. So you enjoyed your time at MJP, learned a lot. And you got to, from my understanding, you got to work with a lot of like cool athletes. I mean, not just like run of the mill random people. I mean, these were like name droppers. Super,
super lucky for the opportunity that I was given, the opportunity that I had there. Really started off. I mean, it was a grind, and I think that's what this field is. And a lot of if you're a coach or a personal trainer or like a sports performer, whatever it may be, but it is an absolute just grind. I mean, you can't put a time frame on your weekly work, but it's just you're constantly just plugging along, whether it's you're actually working or you're trying to do some sort of research or it just keeps on going on. But in the beginning, it was a grind because I wanted to prove myself. I just wanted to be, I guess, an asset. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be a great coach, whether I were to stay there or go somewhere else, whatever it may have been.
Sure.
So in the beginning, it was a lot of youth athletes, and I think the youth athletes is like, let's say, middle school, high school.
I was about to ask, like, what does youth mean to you?
Yeah. And the one thing that I really appreciate about that just age range is they are still learning. They're still developing. There's still so much for them to understand, whether it be patterns, them building their strength, their speed, whatever it may have been. I think that's just one thing about the youth side of things is that they're so typically just they're new, they're green, it's all brand spanking new, the stuff that they're doing. So you get kids coming in that can't skip that. So it's cool to see, especially at that young age, watching them progress, because typically their progression is much quicker. They will progress even if they're sitting at home on the couch playing video games, but it's cool to see a young athlete grasp something and ace something. Maybe it's not 100%, but just getting better at it. It's one of the coolest things. And say they come back, they made that college team, or they're getting more playing time, or they got that offer, whatever it may have been, or hey, they just got off the bench on a JV team and now they're playing. It's just cool accomplishments and achievements that you see them come back with a smile on their face, and they hug you, give you a smile, shake your hand, whatever. It's that those are the moments that as a coach you can't. Nothing to me, nothing beats it.
All the work pays off at that point.
All the work and all of that, all the struggle. It's even on their side of things.
I bet it's super cool to work with those professional athletes. But I mean, at least in my mind, when you're at a high level like that, you're already performing. You as a coach are probably like refining.
Oh yeah. On the professional level, that's a
right. So just showing the difference. Like people are like, oh, it'd be so much cooler just to like work with Tyreek Hill or work with these athletes or Lamar or Patrick Mahomes or some, obviously all football, but whatever. And yeah, I feel like it's cool, but they're at the top. So as a coach, you're refining and trying to find little bits that are trying to make it a little bit better, right? Mm-hmm. But on the youth side, you are the development of trying to make them better. So it's super more rewarding.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't see the 4-4 turn into a 4-3 for Tyreek. Cool. He's not going to be like, yeah, Coach John did that for me. But that little kid's going to remember you if he gets to go up,
And even if it's
sorry, Tyreek probably like 4-1 into a 4-0, right? I mean, my bad, homie.
And it's like at some points you may be a big part of a coach being a big part of someone's life, kind of like what Ned and Dave were for
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
That's where it's kind of started for me. But even just being a small sliver of just someone's just story, their journey, not even a story, but their journey going forward. And if you could just help them out in the slightest way as a coach, I think that is, hey, whatever comes next comes next. Whether you continue to play in college or not, that's your decision. But hopefully I helped you learn something new, whatever it may have been,
Right.
give you the best opportunity for you to do whatever you so please.
Yeah.
That's again your choice to do whatever you want and go from there. But yeah, from the youth to the professional side, oh goodness, it's.
I bet you're dealing with a lot of prima donnas too, right? No? Maybe not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would just assume you get some of those people that are like, bro, I know how to do this. Like, I'm just checking off a box. My contract says I have to do this. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but.
There's times where a lot of time we're still trying to develop something. You're still trying to. It's when people say if you don't use it, you lose it. That's 100% true. Across the board for anything from strength to stamina to speed. There are certain ranges if you don't do maximum velocity, so like top end speed training. If you're not sprinting at a very high intensity once every 4 to 6 days in that range, then you're most likely going to lose at a certain percentage. Yada yada yada.
That quick, huh?
Yeah, it's wild. It is wild. So if I were to go out and sprint right now,
I
not a good idea.
I told Jess the other day about running. It may have been actually today when we were driving home. We dropped off Blakely, and something came up about running, and I was like, you know what? I hate running. Hate it. Sprinting, running, jogging. We covered that 30 minutes ago at the beginning of this podcast, right? I've learned that at my age in my friend group, I don't have to be the fastest. Because if I'm ever going to be at a full sprint, it is because I'm running away from something that can kill me.
Yep.
And if I'm running away from something that can kill me, I'm probably not alone. Hunting, zombies with my family, I'm definitely faster than my dad. Bye. I love the guy, but all I got to do is be faster than the slowest guy.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going. As soon as you started this, I knew that's exactly where you're going.
I am never, ever going to be a high-performance athlete, and I've come to terms with that. I have my specialties. John is helping me through physically for archery and hunting, and my cardio needs to come up, and my lung capacity and stuff, and we're working through that. But I will never be a high-performance athlete, and I have come to terms with that, and I'm okay with that. So as long as I can be faster, I just got to make sure when the zombie apocalypse hit, you and I are not together. Because I'm slower than you, and I'll be the one that dies. So
be very selective on who we're with at that point.
It's like, the world's going to shit, and text John, sorry, we can't see each other ever again.
Nice knowing you. See you on the other side or something like that.
Because I'm done. Like, if that ever hit and it was my wife and I, oh, God, Jess would sprint 20 yards below both ACLs because they are just like rubber bands. I should
be laughing at that.
It's so true.
Oh, goodness. I know she's always had the knees.
And I'd be gone, so I don't have any worries there. Love you, babe, but...
Sorry about
She's faster than I am, but durability is an issue. Oh, man.
Oh, goodness.
But anyway, got off on a tangent.
But no, let's see. Yeah, so, I mean, the first several months, I'm going to say first couple of years, I never really ever got out of working with youth in some aspect at MJP. In the beginning, it was a lot of youth, a lot of evaluation. So when an athlete would come in, it was pretty, I'm going to just say standard for what we were doing there. And an athlete would go through an evaluation where we would see a bunch of different things from just anthropometric measurements, just kind of getting their height, their weight. We did body fat, just kind of collecting a bunch of information, which went into a huge database, which was amazing that we were able to see that. Mm-hmm. Then we did just kind of like a screening, seeing how their body moves in space, just very simple stuff. And then we did a little performance evaluation. Then that went off to the coach, and I was part of that. And then you just kind of see where the athlete came in. So say they ran a 40-yard dash when they came in. Athlete did it in 5 seconds. So, okay, after whatever package they bought, then you test them again, or you do what we were doing is every 3 weeks or so, you would just do kind of an intersession testing. So we just collect the 40-yard dash on a Monday or whatever it may have been, just to see where the athlete's progressing. So it was kind of cool to see the progression within your training along a period of time. No, the youth side was fun, and then luckily got into and was able to work on the high performance side. So high performance is, we'll just say collegiate and upward. So collegiate, professional, if you want to loop in Olympics or Olympians with professional, I say they're two of the same.
Yeah, I mean they're professional in their sport.
And that was again something I never would have expected to be able to work with almost every major sport, or either work with, assess, or give like support of sorts. So whether that be like a remote support where we'd be working with these athletes, whether it was in China at some point, Azerbaijan, Trinidad and Tobago, and being able to supply them, get on calls, programming, whatever it may have been. It was just cool. It was very cool. And then being able to travel again, that's something that was, I wouldn't say on my bucket list. It was just one thing that I really wanted to do, was put my career, my passion, what I love to do, education. I want to be able to travel. Would love traveling. I love traveling right now, and just kind of be able to put those things together. And then the third tangent, which is something we'll get into at some point, but just throw in motorsport in there someday.
Yeah, right. Oh, it was a good segue into China. So that was a big part of your MJP experience, which is super cool. That only, I mean, I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
That, I mean, a handful of people get to experience. So tell us about that.
Don't remember what year it was. I'm going to say maybe my second or third year when I was at MJP. I think the gentleman that had the account, he was moving into a different position. And I think that kind of just, it was track and field. Me being one of the track and field, I think there were only like 2 people track and field there. Kind of surprising when you think about it, like Michael Johnson.
Yeah, right.
I feel like there'd be more people from track and field background.
Right. Yeah.
And so I kind of mended right into this position quite well. And I wouldn't say I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Wouldn't say that. I didn't expect what was going to happen. So, I mean, I get these documents and kind of going through, hey, this is what you have to end up translating. You'll work with the translator to get these documents translated, and they'll give you stuff and you have to put it in, and you have to then send it out. It was just like, I was like, holy cow.
I never even thought about the language barrier. You just blew my mind. I don't know why I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm. That was, I was trying to take everything I was doing in my own mind. I'd put it on paper, and there'd be one sheet of English and then the other one of Mandarin. I was trying to translate back and forth and making sure they were proper and stuff like that. And I was trying to get videos as well and be able to send that to them. So kind of same idea that we're doing.
Yep.
And then I would try to work with the coaches, try to work directly with the athletes, would be messaging them, trying to. Luckily, the app WeChat has a nice little translation feature that actually does quite well.
Really?
Yep. So you could translate text right there, or if they were to send something, you could just click on it and translate it right away. And then luckily I had a translator, and she was a great I mean, unbelievable. Granted, the only one that I've really ever worked with, but being able to work with her, she made my life so much easier. Of just, hey, she would really make sure that everything was coming across properly, which made my life easy, especially when I was here in the U.S. and everyone else was over in different provinces in China. And then came my time. I can't believe, but I've been over to China. Oh gosh, 5, 6, 7 times.
Like what areas, or is it always the one main area?
Big city, Shanghai. Went up to Fuzhou, which is on the coast, and then down to Beijing as well. So 2 main cities. 2 of them were mainly what they were calling them. So it was a Nike China. So it was Nike China Youth Track and Field. So it's all of these kind of upcoming talent, and it was, again, very cool what they were doing. Big ID camps and stuff like that, and just picking out the talent that they saw. Hey, this could be future talent.
Sure.
And a lot of these kids were fast. And when I was going over there and watching their mechanics, how meticulous they are on the track with their mechanics and in the weight room, I was just sitting. It still blows my mind. It's still one of the coolest things I've ever been able to experience. But that first time going over there was hairy. Never been out of the country. That was the first time I've ever been out of the country.
Straight into the thick of it.
Going to China.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you went from Connecticut to Alabama, so you did the American version, yeah. And then if you wanted to go international, you're like, well, I guess I'll go from Texas to Shanghai.
That was.
I've always wanted to go. I heard it's really like pretty in some areas. You know, having an architecture degree in college, like I would really like to go see some of the stuff.
And we'll get into that, but that first trip.
But I also don't want to see some of the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing here.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I guess anywhere you go, nobody wants to go to like South Dallas. You know.
Hey, you never know. But that first trip, it was when I say hairy, it was more of the experience. The entire thing was more of the build up. So I was going to present. So that was one thing that we would do is we would present to the national coaches there or just the provincial coaches. So we would present to them some sort of a topic, whatever they deemed that they needed more information on.
Okay.
Or just wanted more education on it.
So what was your title, if you had one, like from MJP to go do this? Were you like their like Olympic coach, or I mean, would you say that, or just a liaison?
I guess more of like a liaison, just kind of a contracted coach, or just a performance specialist from MJP. MJP worked with Nike. MJ had a big Nike deal. I mean, the gold spikes when he was running in the Olympics. I mean, you can't forget that, and that worked into MJP, and that's how kind of this contract came together, was the Nike track and field, or at least Nike China.
Gotcha.
And one thing led to the next. So it was more of they were utilizing the education and knowledge from MJP to educate their coaches and work and just kind of support the athletes. So coaches there would work with the athletes, I mean, day in and day out, and I would just kind of be on the backside looking at videos, whether it be acceleration videos, coming out of the blocks, stopping, whatever it may have been, and just being able to analyze it and try to send it back to them.
So you weren't their sole coach?
No. I was more on the.
See, I guess I always misunderstood that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were like it.
Mm-hmm. I was more on the back end supporting them, and that was kind of the tricky part when being over there was you don't want to step on the coach's toes. You really want to stay on your own boundaries, know what you're doing, and know what you're trying to accomplish together. Yourself as kind of the support team with the coach, their coach, their physical coach. But that was one thing, and that first trip, had to send over a presentation. So I was working late the night before my flight, the next morning or next day, whenever it was, and I had to send it over to them so they can translate it or just double check it, whatever, just to make sure it was ready and set to go. So I went into MJP and went to MJP with my wife and was finishing a couple things up, had to get a couple things off the server, it may have been videos, whatever it may have been. And one thing, we walk back out to the car and I open up my door and my wife opens up to her door and she's like, "Why is there glass over your passenger seat?" So this is back when all the baseball fields were over behind MJP back there.
Okay.
So there was big tournaments going on. I think it was during the summer. It had to have been, because that was the first time was August when I went over to Shanghai. And
this was the day before?
This was the day before. My wallet was still in my car. Wallet gone, credit cards gone, cash gone in my wallet.
The day before you travel
literally like
across the world.
12 to 15 hours before I left.
Oh, my God.
I was sitting there. The amount of phone calls I made within 10 minutes. Credit card companies, the credit card companies, the banks, calling my directors or bosses above me, just kind of and getting in contact with the person, kind of the main director, if you want to call her that I was talking to in China, just trying to get everyone, just trying to, hey, this is what just happened. And then luckily you only need a passport and the visa, which was in the passport, to go on over there. So my car.
How did you pay for anything? Or is it all stipends,
got
basically?
taken care of when I was over there, which was very nice, and super grateful for that too. But that was, I mean, talk about the first time going over there.
So homeboy had nothing but a passport and was just like, "Bye, Jenna.
We're about to figure out if I come home or not. Guess I'm here now." So I came home.
That is ridiculous.
So that was kind of
I never knew that.
We're gonna get your toes in. No, we're not getting your toes wet. You're jumping to the deep end. Have at it.
I'm going to assume the answer to this is no, but I'm assuming you never held anybody responsible for that, or just a random smash and grab. Adios.
No, police came and they hit. I think it was 5 to 10 cars they hit that evening.
Was it your car?
It was a silver one.
Yeah,
the SRT4.
Yeah.
Yep. And then so that was a beginning to that trip. And no, other than that, I mean, going over there, I think the one big thing was just being able to immerse into the culture, and as you were saying, kind of seeing the architecture and just again the culture and their food. It was amazing. If I were to go over there and not know what I was doing, or I didn't have a translator, I
couldn't even imagine.
I couldn't imagine. So it was, I mean, everything was taken care of, and lucky I was able to translator was taking me out when the first time I went out to Shanghai to see the city. I mean, it's spectacular. It's what it is.
Really?
It is so cool. It was awesome to see. I mean, lucky to see that. Trinidad and Tobago as well. I mean, the hospitality over there, they're amazing people. Gorgeous company, yeah. Gorgeous country. I mean, the beaches, the mountains. It's just,
we're so skewed in the U.S. about like we have the best shit. You know, like every time you see something from a different country, you're like, oh, I'm not going there. You know, unless you really do something. I just feel like that's kind of the vibe that we put off. It's like, hey, you want to come see something beautiful? Come to California. California. You know, let's go to some of these other places. Australia, Tokyo, northern China, and all those mountains. Like, are you kidding me?
Someday.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we need to kill that mantra because I've wanted to go forever. I keep telling Jess that we should go to Tokyo, but I'm terrified.
Why is that?
Not of going to Tokyo, but I'm terrified of going there and not having a translator. Or, like, not being able to communicate at all. And
that's one
thing. And I'm
like,
I have no problem talking to somebody, and obviously I'm American. I go over there. They're like, tourist, no big deal. But at the same time, I have to be able to communicate with these people. Like, hey, bro, where's my hotel?
Oh, yeah.
Or where am I sleeping?
Oh, yeah.
Or I want 6 scorpions instead of 7, you know? I don't know. That would be one of the coolest experiences ever, but I'd have to figure out how I would, I don't know, Google Translate maybe. Throw in the AirPods in and just, I have no idea.
One thing about going to, especially countries that may not, or English language definitely isn't I'm not going to say it's not very popular, but
yeah,
going over there, like to me, I think it's, you need to know what you're doing, where you have to go, what you're getting yourself into. That's just how I view it. People will be like, yeah, no, we just went on a whim and we figured it out ourselves. So it's almost like a to each their own, but I'm one of those people that I need to know exactly.
I'm too much of a planner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I can get there and have a good time on vacation if I don't know what I'm doing. But like my well-being, I'm a planner. Like, if it comes to fun, yeah, whatever. You want to go to this restaurant, you want to go do this hike, you want to go do this tour, you want to go do this buggy ride, cool, let's ride.
Oh, yeah.
But I need to know where I'm sleeping tonight and what I'm eating.
Yeah.
Like, I have to plan that. I don't know, that's just the way I grew up, I guess. But the food is what has me intrigued, man. I bet the food was awesome.
It was. This is just one thing where one of my wife's, one of her favorite food is just Chinese food. I don't know why. It's maybe just like a guilty pleasure. Apparently, every time I was in China, she would go to Panda Express and get Chinese food.
It's like that weird mental thing between husband and wife, to where it's like, oh, he's probably eating Panda Express, so I'm gonna go.
That was one thing I didn't know what I was. It was interesting. It was awesome to experience I'm just gonna say Chinese cuisine. We would every once in a while, or every so often, go to a dinner, and it would be a nice big round table. And this was actually really cool. It was a nice big round table, and in the middle, I guess you could call it a lazy Susan technically, and it would just rotate. It'd be on an electric rotator and just rotates. So pretty much, I mean, seafood.
Oh my god, dude!
That's
Talk
like
dirty to me.
Number one.
Talk dirty to me.
Fresh too. So it
right?
was super. Oh my god, it was unbelievable.
It's not that Gulf shrimp's been frozen for 3 weeks, and you go to Kroger. 3 weeks was generous, by the way.
It was super generous.
Anyway,
but it was. I mean, some of the food that I was able to eat was unbelievable.
What was the best thing you ever had there?
Oh goodness.
I mean, did this might be my ignorance, but sushi? Did you have any sushi
Actually,
over
no.
there? Or is it not really a big deal over there like it is in America? No.
I don't think it's not necessarily. I don't think about. I'd actually never had it in China. I don't know if sushi's too big in China. I could be completely wrong.
More of it like maybe like a Tokyo thing, or like a Japan, Korean thing.
I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I have no idea. Don't quote me on that. I have no idea.
I'm not sure either. But I think one of my.
I need a fact checker.
Honestly.
I need to hire a fact checker.
Hey.
Yeah.
Help, please.
I need Jamie from the Joe Rogan podcast to be in the corner over there and be like, "Hey,
look
up on
the
that
screen behind him.
Yeah.
Just looking at it.
One day, brother.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
I need that number 2 in the left-hand corner to have about 6 zeros behind it, and then maybe I'll get there. We're having fun though.
No. Yeah, we are. And I think
sushi.
It's
got to be a Tokyo thing, a Japan thing.
I think so.
Anyway,
I think it is and I think there are places here in Dallas that you can do it as well, but it's called hot pot. So what it would be is.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
You kind of your own.
It's all raw.
Yep, all raw. You own the mini little pot, and it's put on a little burner, and you can. I think there's kind of different broths, if you will, if you want to make a spicy one or just kind of a generic one, and then meats, seafood. I mean, you have the shrimp that come out.
Dip it for a couple seconds.
Seafoods, the shrimp are still wiggling. They're still alive. You put it into boiling water.
Beautiful.
When you talk about fresh, and you just pop them out
Dude,
and break them apart. I mean, that was probably, those are my favorite. We had done that a couple times, and
That's
even
cool.
with the athletes was come along as well.
I'd like to take you to one here so you could be like, this is garbage.
I know. That's my problem with eating Chinese food here.
Yeah.
It's just.
That would be fun for us to go do that. Like as a group thing with the wives and be like, hey, let's go do this. And then John shows up and he's like, this is garbage. And we're all like, this is so good.
And this is the funny part too. So, and as you said earlier about like the tourist sort of a deal. When I was in just, no matter where I was at, whether a restaurant or if you're in like a dining hall, wherever it was, they as in waitresses, or we'll just say waitresses, waiters, they would always bring out silverware. I would always have chopsticks, and that's how I would
in China.
So I would always be carrying around chopsticks, and I would use chopsticks when we'd go to any place to eat.
You carried around your own chopsticks?
No, well, as in like if they would give us.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a thing in China. It's like here when you got like your own, belt buckle or your own like pocket knife that I carry around. You just rock your own chopsticks. Is that not a thing?
I wish I had bought a set.
Yeah.
Or a pair, something. I wish I had bought chopsticks when I was like genuine chopsticks. I wish I had purchased them when I was.
I got some Amazon chopsticks downstairs.
That was one thing, and a tea set. I would love just to have it. I think it's so.
Set.
Yeah. Tea is something that's huge over there, and the tea is amazing. I'd just be like, an evening after dinner, you want to go get tea, and you go down to this nice little.
Really?
I'm gonna say a parlor. It's not. I don't even know what you want to call it, but they have their tea set up, and I want to just pour tea and just kind of sit there, relax, and conversate, or they would conversate, and I would just kind of sit there and watch their emotions and stuff like that, and go from there.
It's got to be the wildest thing, being at a dinner you don't understand anything.
Oh gosh. Talk about.
It's like going to your in-laws for the first time. You're like, I'm not saying a word.
The amount of times it was just, oh, cheers, and everyone come over. Thank you for being here. I mean, it was just red wine.
Red wine.
I had, and sake as well, but red wine mainly. It was red wine would be at dinner, and then you would have your little sake shot right there.
See, that's how ignorant I am being an American.
Had to always be full because just get ready. Someone come over, maybe tap you on the shoulder, or someone across the table.
So you just get plastered every night because you're just having to take a shot every time somebody stands up and thanks you.
I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, easy. Come on now.
You take half the shot and kind of fuss it off.
I was just,
so back to the silverware. They'd always bring you silverware because you were American?
They would try to bring me a fork and spoon and a knife. Yep. Always.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, that's...
And I would take it and I would just, leave it by the side, but I'd want to use the chopsticks. I think it's, I wouldn't say fun. It's fun, it's cool, and it's more, I guess it's just again, getting into...
I like using chopsticks.
I do too.
I'm terrible.
Oh, I hold them completely wrong.
I use chopsticks. I'm really good at sushi with chopsticks because that's easy. But like fried rice and stuff, I get like 3 grains of rice and then like a whole piece of steak. And I'm like, that'll work. I'll eat all the rice at the end when I can shovel it into my mouth.
The rice, and then
so bad.
There'd be like peas and stuff like that there where you're just chasing around the bowl trying to get the thing or noodles.
And then they bring you the fork.
Dude, it was they're probably watching.
The waitress is over there like...
Yeah.
You see that white guy over there?
Exactly. Yep.
God.
It was the stuff that I struggled with the most were more of like the noodles, especially when it was like a bigger dinner and the noodles were kind of going around on this lazy Susan. I would try to get
it like kind of a ramen style, or like pad thai style.
Yeah, similar in a way. And I would try to get into it, and I would try to get them out, and they would kind of be in a broth, but I would try to get them out, and they would just, I couldn't close the chopsticks enough, and they would just start drooping out. And I would like literally pick them up and be one. I'd put the one on my plate.
Like you kind of spin it on your fork like we do here for spaghetti, and it just starts to slide.
I was trying to loop them around, and it just never worked. So I was like, I'm done with this. I'll stick to this.
I've never tried chopsticks and noodles. I'm not a big noodles person. I think I probably stay away from it because like everything we have here is so high in sodium. Because like if you want ramen, it's just shit in broth. Honestly, like you'd have to go to a good place to get decent ramen. Yeah. I have nothing against it. I'd love to try a good ramen. Or a similar dish, like again, it's my ignorance showing through of that culture, but I've never tried that with noodles. It's always with just like fried rice or sushi or something.
And I'm also probably just trash with chopsticks too.
Wow, I mean, yeah,
it's part of it.
Who cares?
Yeah, still learning. Yeah, I'm learning. But
no,
I think
the food would be phenomenal. How was the?
Amazing.
Now you were over there with, a high performance training center, so you weren't just like rolling by yourself. How are the sleeping arrangements?
They
And
were,
like just day-to-day life, is that so different than it is here?
I think for what they were hosting a camp, so they kind of had access to either I was in a hotel, and I think all the athletes were in a hotel as well, or it was more of at like a campus, and you would almost be in like a, let me say a dorm at the campus, which is similar to like a hotel room, and that's pretty much what it was. So, I mean, it was similar to the hotels that you would see here, or a dorm at a campus. It was quite similar to it. Again, nothing was in English, so trying to turn on the TV and flip through channels.
I couldn't even imagine.
It's just, I mean, I don't understand any of this, but it's just noise in the background and trying to put on like a sleep or whatever it was on the remote, try to turn the thing off at night.
Oh my God. It's just John for a half hour trying to figure out which button this button do. Menu
That's
sleep.
Not it.
I couldn't even imagine.
So that was, I mean, such problems, huh?
Yeah, first world problems.
Gosh.
I mean, people come over here and go through the same stuff. Yeah, that's crazy. I would love to go one day.
It's
so, did you, was it, I got to ask the burning question. Did you have a bidet? Or was it like normal toilet situation?
There was actually one time where there was no toilet. It was just a hole in the ground.
Shut the front door.
At a restaurant.
At a restaurant?
That caught me by surprise big time. We were at,
I could see maybe like a hole in the wall, like hotel that you were like sloughing off before you got to the, or like you had to stop off at the local Chinese 7-Eleven and take a grumpy before you hit the plane. But
nope. At the hotels and the dorms and even at like the track and field, the facility, if you want to call it that, normal toilets. And then we went to, it was a hot pot dinner one night, and we were at the athletes, and so need to use the restroom or the washroom and go over to it, open the door, and there was just a hole in the ground. And I was sitting there like,
stop.
That's the first time I've seen this.
Was it the worst smell you've ever smelled in your life?
I don't remember. I probably tried to phase that.
Yeah, probably. You just thrown up everywhere. That's crazy. The only time I've ever seen that here in the States is they have those at national parks. So if you go to like Yellowstone, they don't, it's just like a big porta potty in the ground that they come pump out, right? Because there's so many visitors. You stop off to go see like the geysers at Yellowstone. That was my first experience with it. And you're literally just like squatting over a hole. Swear to God.
Really?
We have them here.
Maybe I just didn't go to the bathroom when I was there.
Yeah, and not like at the main campuses where you see like Old Faithful, those are normal bathrooms. But I mean, if you're off the beaten path a little, exactly. If you're off the beaten path and there's a parking lot with like 10 parking spots and you want to go do your own hike tour deal, there's always just like a unisex bathroom. All I can speak of is Yellowstone, but it's a national park service, so I'd have to assume they run the same program everywhere. And yeah, that was the first time ever I had to like go, and I just had to take a whiz or whatever. So I go in and I'm like, well, this is strange.
It's different.
Yeah. It was the craziest. And you've seen it's like 10 feet deep, and it's literally just a porta potty, right? I mean, it's just a big ass porta potty. And they have trucks that come around and run them out every now and again. I'm just like, this is the wildest thing ever. Yeah. So I'm assuming very similar circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. So I understand what you were going through, because I walked in there and I was like, I mean, this doesn't matter to me much, but my wife's next door squatting, and I hope she doesn't fall in. I mean, the hole's not big enough, but it is what it is. You grab a leg through there, shit goes wrong.
Oh, God.
Tear an
Can you
ACL.
imagine you slip on something? Oh, God.
Stop.
That's, yeah.
It just made me gag just thinking about it. That's terrible. That is so terrible.
Oh, goodness.
So, I mean, I know we're on air and live and stuff, but I bring up bidet because I just installed one.
God. Did you really?
I fucking love it.
Oh, God.
I love it so much. I threw it in the master like 3 weeks ago. Didn't know how I felt about it, but I had one on the Amazon wish list for a while, and go in and it's like 50% off. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it, right? If I don't like it, I spend $20 and it's whatever, Install it. First couple times were a little weird. Now I'm like, if I'm up here, we're upstairs right now for the people that are watching. They're upstairs at my house and my master's downstairs. If I'm up here working and it just like the moment hits and I'm like, I gotta go now, and I gotta go in that bathroom behind the wall over there, I'm upset about it, because I'm like, I should have made it downstairs to go to the bidet. It is the weird. And Jess looked at me the same way, but I'm telling you, dude, you gotta try it.
Oh, God.
You gotta try it. It's the weirdest thing, but it works.
Jen and I have, I feel like her parents have it too. I'm not sure. But someone said, you guys should get one as well. So we've heard.
Yeah.
Say, hey.
And I was always the biggest skeptic, because I'm like, that's super strange. But I was just like, you know what? Open-minded, I'm going to try it. So I tried it. and it's so nice. You just clean AF after you're done. It's like taking a shower, and you're done. So
I mean, hey,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Super easy.
It's nice. But
not opposed.
I'm still stuck up on the red wine. I can't get that out of my head. Was it better than what you've ever had here? Or was it just what they do?
I think it was comparable to like your Josh's over here. I think
that's their like standard Bud Light, if you will.
I think it was it seemed like a pretty standard wine that we were drinking. I don't remember it. I just don't remember what it tasted. I mean, red wine. Can't say it was an expensive one. Can't say it was a super cheap one. It was.
Well, I mean, that tells me everything I need to know because I like red wine. I like to drink red wine. And if I were to go to Napa, I'd be like, okay, I can tell you if this is good red wine or not. Or like when we go to a winery or out and I'm like, oh, they have this red wine. I'm like, cool, I'll have a glass. Or if they have this, I'm like, I'll have a bottle. You know, like there's a difference. So that tells me everything I need to know to where it's like, it's just what they drink. Yeah. And it's not like a staple, if you will.
I don't think so. I think it was just here's red wine and everyone was drinking it. And I think, and there were also beers that people, I think Heineken was the big beer, I think.
Really? Heineken?
Maybe getting that mixed
up. A German beer.
Tobago, though.
Either way.
I think when I saw the beer there and I was like, you guys drink that here? Not that I don't know, super ignorant of me being like, that's here, sort of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, you just heard my response. Same ignorance, but Heineken would have been one of my last guesses though, for being a German beer over like I don't even know what I would have considered. Okay, maybe. Shit, I guess it's just as close as like Foster's coming from Australia, right?
I mean,
I think I'd have been just as surprised to see some guy walking down the street with a Coors Light.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's way far away.
I'd be like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What? Why?
Yeah. Keystone.
There's so many other choices.
You stumble upon a campus and there's a college party going on. There's a keg of Keystone, and you're like, where am I? Alabama? See, I tied that in.
Alabama.
So you're in China. You're this world traveler. You train these athletes, and then you come back here, work for them for a little bit, and then things happen, and that company's no longer. So, tell me what you're doing now. Brag about yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
No, it's cool, man. It's a big deal.
So as of I've been doing it for a little while. So I've still been since the closing. Been still working with athletes, mainly youth, couple professionals. So working with working MLB off season right now. Just working with mainly one, just kind of assisting with a second, just making sure he doesn't kill himself. No, he just makes sure he's doing things right. Yeah. And so as of last week, just made it, I guess, public that I have decided to launch my own business.
That's awesome.
So just using my name, so Rettenmeier Performance Training, and as of right now, I'm working with in-person athletes, again, youth up to professional, going to be able to do remote coaching, remote programming, so being able to do something over an application, or if someone likes a PDF with videos in it better, then either way we'll be able to work with that. Doing a little bit of nutrition coaching. Again, not a registered dietitian. I can't really treat any medical conditions, anything like that. Can't diagnose, so have to kind of take my step back. I can't do a fair amount of stuff on that end. And then adult. So the adult fitness is a new thing. I've done it in the past at up in New York at Velocity Sports Performance, and then I also did it a little bit down here, but more for adults that wanted to compete. So these guys, they were two guys that I had worked with, wanted to compete in what they call masters track and field. So it's just track and field for, I'm just going to say, the older generation. So there's, I think, there's age ranges. So 35 to, let's say, 40. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there's certain age blocks that you compete in, and you pick what event you want to do. You could run 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, whatever you'd like. So these gentlemen were competing for that. So, again, we were still working on running mechanics, trying to make it so they would be safe, not get injured, and go from there. But this adult fitness is more for people that want to improve their health, improve their fitness, maybe they want to make a change, maybe they want to lose weight, whatever it may be. So I think that's where we're starting, and I think there's going to be going forth with the business. There's going to be iterations. Things are going to change. Some things are going to have more priority than others. But there's, I think, two more things that I'm looking to, I won't say launch, but put out, and I know where I want to go with it in the end. And it's a dream I've been chasing and will continue to chase until I accomplish it, and that's putting motorsport in together with this.
Yeah, so. No, that's super cool. Yeah, I was super excited for you whenever, I mean, we've chatted about it long before you launched publicly about running your own business and stuff, because we've been doing it or my wife has been doing it for a minute, and then started, the Knocked Up Outdoors brand. And yeah, it's been a cool journey to see you kind of go through that and start the own company. And then when you dropped, having everything ready, all the social medias, the website, the whole thing, having a program together and ready to rock and roll's been really cool. Been really cool to see.
That's fun stuff to me too.
Yeah, I mean, being on that side as well, when you dropped all that, I was like, damn, this graphics look good. Like, all this looks bomb. Like, I need to talk to him about, like, how did you do this? Because mine is shit.
That's just one thing, and this is just like a hobby. I don't know where it's come from, but my mom's always been into art. She's done painting. She's created some amazing paintings and stuff like that, and I just got into photography as a hobby. I could never do photos of people. I for some reason, I don't want to have that pressure on me. So, cars. Stick to the stuff that I know. Yep. Trying to take photos of cars. Love seeing the certain angles of cars, details, or stuff like that, and being able to Photoshop and then edit, and then it ended up building, and even had to kind of work into it a little bit at MJP, which is being able to design something that was simple, easy on the eyes, something to understand, and being able to build my own website and then try to create stuff. And I use Canva. It's just fun. I will waste so much time on that thing.
Canva is my new best friend.
It's bad how much time I will end up wasting just creating stuff.
Worth every dollar of like $11 a month, because I gotta tell you, I get all the pro stuff and the whole thing. It's
so much fun. To me, it's fun. I love the design side of things. My wife's like, you should get into marketing. I don't know how good I would be at marketing. I could only do it for myself.
Yeah. You have a passion for it for yourself, and that's what I've learned about it. It's like I see something that I like, and I try to kind of reiterate it for, put my spin on it or whatever, and that's the world in general. But I could never do it for somebody else. Like, if you came to me and said, here's my brand and my logo, can you, make some thumbnails for me? I'd be like, dude, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Because it's not my vision. And that's a gift that marketing people have. They can do that for people. Like with my stuff, I can go into Canva and be like, I need 3 YouTube thumbnails, Instagram highlight photos, a new post or whatever, and I know what I want it to look like in the end, and I'll bust my ass and just try to figure it out myself and do it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you were to come to me and ask me that, I'm like, it's not that I won't work hard for you, but if I produce something, I'm like, this is really cool, and then you're like, that's not what I had in mind. Then I'd be like, well, do it yourself. That's what I'm doing.
There's like one commercial, maybe it's like an ad on YouTube about, I think it was a person in pretty much those shoes, and it was saying about a logo. Oh, I want the logo to be a little bit larger, or whatever it was. I don't know the exact commercial, but there's something out there, and I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine being like, I want the logo. I don't like that color, even though it's a brand color. I don't like that, whatever it may be.
I would rather sit down if I didn't have the mind, and that comes back from my architecture background. Like, I mean, we had to use Photoshop and design stuff and renderings of buildings and stuff.
Is amazing when you get good at it.
Yeah.
There's some scary things.
I wish it wasn't so damn expensive, or else I would get it. But yeah, it just kind of learning that just kind of helped that side of it for myself anyway. But yeah, like you said, I couldn't imagine. I would want to be that person if I didn't have any of that background or want to do it, and I come to somebody in a marketing background. I'd be like, all right, look, I'm gonna come spend 3 hours with you, and we're gonna knock this out, because I can't have you just send me a PDF and then me give you 3 bullet points and then give me a PDF back. Like, where are you located? Yeah. I'm coming, and we're gonna knock it out and be done with it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it back and forth.
I couldn't. No,
but no, it's super cool. It's super cool that you're running your own show now. Yeah, I mean, you've been helping me for a while, and it's been awesome. The programs have been strenuous, to say the least, and there's probably you'd have to ask my wife for the current number, but there's probably at least 3 times a week that I'll like get off the couch or get out of bed, and I'm like old man, like getting up, and I'm just like, oh, fuck you, John.
I don't know if I want to hear that.
You know, like I'm just no. It's because I'm sore. Like it's perfect. Like
so
muscular sore. Like it's a good thing.
He's kind of on a German volume training if that's the one you're doing right now. So it's like a 10 by 10 of certain movements. We've really just kind of stuck to the basic one, or basic as in your main movements. Right. That's what we've kind of. It's not fun.
It's not easy.
It's a lot of volume, but then it gets easier from there once you.
Yeah, the first couple. Finish the program that I'm on right now with you. You got a few weeks left or whatever it may be or whatever. But I think I'm ready for that high intensity cardio.
Blend that in there a little bit.
Give me that X amount a week program you think I need to be ready for September that we talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
I have introduced this to John before of trying to coordinate our lives a little bit because you don't work with a whole lot of people like myself, and I would consider myself right now bottom tier in this environment of outdoors and hunting and stuff. But there's a lot of people like me that want to go do physically strenuous hunts, elk, moose, go to Canada, get a bear, do a lot of hiking. I mean, hell, even shoot total archery challenges. I mean, you're hiking 10, 12 miles over the course of 2-3 days. I mean, that's a lot, especially with the pack on, you're carrying a bow.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you get your water intake, your cardio levels got to be up, all sorts of stuff. So there's a large group of people like me that need a program that caters to that lifestyle of being able to throw your 40-pound pack on or whatever you're doing for that day and say, oh, we got 6 miles, let's ride. Like, you want to be that guy that turns to your buddy and is like, should have done the program, bro. You know what I mean? So John and I have talked about it in the past, but I want him to write me a program that I can do to hopefully maybe release a little sneak peek to you guys if you want the program that you can purchase through John at a discount through me, you know, all the things. So I think I'm ready to do that. I think I'm mentally ready to do that. Physically, I'm not ready to do that.
Hey, that's the first step, though. That is the first step.
Mentally, I'm ready to do that. So whenever you find a sliver of time that you just want to put a program together that I'm going to hate you for, but love you in 6 weeks or whatever it's going to be, I'm ready for that. So I'm going to go through it, and then hopefully we can work something out after he gets on his feet a little bit and rocking and rolling to where you can go to John and purchase that program through him and become a client of his and do the same program for all the 30-year-old dads out there that just want to go to TAC and not have a heart attack. So that's the goal.
And that's actually because
flips right into it.
We've talked about so many different things of this is, I wouldn't say phase 2, but this is something that's I'm going to say just the non-athletic side. So I mean, everyone has been an athlete at some point. I use a statement that a gentleman named Bill Bowerman, co-founder of Nike, he pretty much says that.
Okay.
If you have a body, you're an athlete. So pretty much saying that everybody's an athlete, no matter if you're a professional athlete, no matter if you're a youth athlete, no matter if you're just somebody that's out and about. You have a body, you're an athlete, you can do athletic things. So I think there's that aspect of bringing the expertise and the ability to have a coach. For some people love having a coach, some people need it, some people can just say, give me a program and I'll go.
Yep.
But how we were saying of that one thing in life. So I guess the importance. So it could be how we were saying earlier where it's, hey, I need to get ready for my own wedding. I need to get ready if you're a parent for my child's wedding, or I need to get ready as a parent for maybe I'm expecting as a wife, or maybe my partner's expecting, whatever it may be. But if there's a baby on the way, or stuff like if you have a hunt that you're getting ready for.
I'm going to be in the woods for 9 days, and I need to make sure that I don't die.
Or someone has whatever it may be.
Because nobody thinks about the physical component of that.
A marathon, someone wants to get back into something they loved when they were younger, maybe snowboarding. They want to go. I think it's being able to work with people like that have. I personally like having a goal in mind.
Yep.
I think that then you have something to fixate on. You have a date. You have a time frame that you need to work in, and
you want to do it more.
you want to work towards that end all goal, and then once you get into it, once you kind of, I'm going to call it almost the consistency of grid life. You're checking the boxes like 80% of the time. Hey, I'm doing great 80% of the time. That's a way to start. You're persevering towards something that you want to do.
Yep.
And I think in the end, it's understanding and knowing that being healthy and having health is just the overall. It's if you want to look at life itself, being healthy and having that health is just probably the wealthiest thing that you could have.
It's meta for sure.
Outside of money, I mean, money, you could make money. Say you can become rich overnight, just
neat,
figuratively, and then you can't go back in time and buy back your health.
Yeah, for sure.
Mean,
you can't even
and that's not going to
go
happen.
forward in time and buy your health.
Exactly. That's not going to be something. It's something that's going to happen over time. So it's something that's over time, and it's something you have to work for. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. As much as everyone, especially nowadays, as much as everyone wants it or wants it now.
Yeah,
it's just something that unfortunately you have to. It is tough. It is very tough, and it's, I think one way is trying to find out and really figure out. Again, it comes in conversation with a client or a person. What makes them tick? What works for them? Do you have to be very precise? You have to measure everything. You have to track everything. How do they work? Or can you be more hands off and you just educate them? Hey, these are fairly proper portion sizes to start here. You look solid where you're cooking, and now it's just balancing what you need. And it takes time. It takes time, and then it's just one thing. I think he was my advisor. I don't know the exact terminology of what he was, but my advisor in college. He had our class at one point, and pretty much just said, he's like, one of the scariest things, and just looking forward into the future when you get older, if you have grandparents, is you want to continue staying fit. You want to continue staying strong, relatively strong.
Sure.
And pretty much just said, he's like, when you're 70, 80, 90, if you get to live that long, it's like, when you go to the bathroom, you want to be able to stand up off the toilet.
Yeah, just the simple things.
Just simple things. You want to be able to stand. You want to get up, be able to sit up off the couch. You want to stand up off the couch. I mean, it's just. So when he said that, I was sitting there, of course, whatever, junior, senior me, and I heard that, I was like, whoa.
Blew your mind.
That's kind of scary. It's
true, though.
It is 100%. It is 100% true.
I heard, it was before you and I met, but I heard somebody say something similar. I don't remember what I was doing or where I was at. It's irrelevant. But they were giving a lecture or a speech, saw it online or something, and they said, when you put your shoes and socks on in the morning to go to work, do it standing up. Don't sit in a chair and do it. Because over the course of your lifetime, you are growing the muscles and developing the muscles of stability in one of your legs. Like, you're 25 years old. Hell, you're 18 years old. Yes, you can stand on one leg, put your sock on, put your shoe on. Do it when you're 65. And people who have sat down in a chair their whole life, put their shoes and socks on, when they're 65, they'd fall over. But maybe, just maybe, if you subconsciously think about it, who cares? And you put it a part of your daily life of, put your shoes and socks on standing up. Quit being a lazy ass and sitting down. Then maybe you're 65, and then you can still put your shoes and socks on by yourself. Or 85. 65 is a little young, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's just the little things in life, like standing up off the toilet.
The little things in life, and then it can get to the point of the past 3 days, whatever we had, that ice storm.
Yeah.
The amount of people that are outside, okay, I get it. It's ice. It's a quarter of an inch of ice. It's super slippery. But to the point of where you step on it, especially if you're older, when you have that older population that tends to fall down, maybe they lose balance or whatever, they can't get their footing, and they maybe break a bone or fracture, whatever.
It's serious then.
And it's
when you're 30, serious. It sucks. When you're 80, it sucks.
Yeah, so it's just being able to just be prepared for life.
Yeah, exactly.
As weird as that sounds,
that's super cool. And I mean, I know you get the cool part of the athlete, but that's, helping people through life. We had the discussion whenever you were talking about maybe some clientele you'd like to target or whatever, and I'd like to think I don't fall into this group. But when I told you, and you'd already been thinking about it, but when I told you, I was like, if I came to you as a client, we didn't know each other, and I said, I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle. My daughter's 6 months old, and that's a long ways away. I'll be 55, 60 years old, God bless, if I'm still around to do that.
Yeah.
And that is a goal of mine to do. And while I don't fall into that realm now, I will in 20 years of wanting to keep my health up or whatever. And I don't want to wait till I'm 50. And you were talking about, well, that's somebody that I want to help because their daughter's 14 and they're 52 years old or whatever the age gap is, and they say the same thing to me. I want to be able to help that person, and be able to achieve that, what seems like a minimal goal to everybody else, but it means the world to that dude. You know,
and that's
the only thing that would hit home to me. It's like, if I want to be the lazy ass and not get to go on my elk hunt, that's my own damn fault. But if I want to be the lazy ass and I can't walk my daughter down the aisle, that then affects her, and that would break me. You know, it's a different realm.
I agree, and I think with that, and that would almost end up being, I'm going to end up calling it health is wealth. That's going to be kind of the program. I don't know if it's going to be its own entity, a business, or anything like that, but I may have to. I don't know, but it'll be health is wealth, and I think the whole idea and objective behind it is not going to be a quick fix, but working with someone over 30 days, I don't think it's long enough.
No.
90 days, 6 months, maybe even just an annual, so 1 year.
It's going to be specific per person.
It'll be specific per person, but it'll also be educating. One big thing is going to be educating, but educating in an applicable way where you can take this information from the nutrition side, again, keeping it fairly basic, where you can do this. You could teach it to your husband, your wife, your significant other, whatever it may be. Right. You could teach it to your children if they're still growing up. Even if you have young athletes, you can use it with them as well.
Super important there.
Just being
We've talked about that pandemic before.
Yeah.
Or that epidemic, not pandemic.
Be able to just teaching people how to just nutrition properly, recovery or restoration properly, movement. I'm not going to say movement, as a lot of people know from me, is a lot of the speed stuff, but movement, going out, go for a walk, doing yoga, do whatever you like, spin classes, going to do Pilates, go to the gym. Strength train, whatever it may be, just being
something.
Just movement, exactly. Just do something. Go for a bike ride. Go take your dog for a walk, and then, I mean, that's it. It all comes in. I think that'll. I can only just imagine the successes and the stories that you're going to hear, or that I hopefully hear, and the relationships I build with these people. Yeah, that's
going to be cool.
I don't know. I'm ready for it, but I think when I take a step back and see what some people, not necessarily go through, but just see it and see their next step and I'm not gonna say a new life, but just maybe it's an improvement. But just
I have to disagree with you there. New life for sure. I don't know if when you're talking about, again, I don't know that it's such radical change for somebody that's in my shoes. Yeah, I got 15 or so to maybe 20 to lose. Like, you know, you and I are working through that and we're doing something. Is that going to change my life drastically? No, it's going to make it better for sure, and I'm going to be able to do some other things. But you take somebody that needs to lose 120. That's a life changer, Bubba. That is a new life that you've given that person.
And those people I respect so much.
Yeah.
Those transformations are some of the coolest things.
That's cool.
And that just, again, said in the beginning.
That's kind of in that youth realm we talked about. That's why you do it. Like, you want to see that progression and that transformation.
Just, again, the thank you in the end, the handshake, if I get to see you in person or if it's remote. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Going from there, it's just being that little sliver of your life and hopefully changing your life or your athletic career, whatever it may be, for hopefully giving you
that's cool
that next step. And then on top of that would be the final thing, which is motorsport.
I was about to segue into it. So I mean, I want to talk about that. I mean, that's if I were to classify John into, you know, boil him down into one category of things that he loves, I don't even know that I would put it in the performance realm. It would be motorsports.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the passion, right? And you're obviously very good at what you're doing with your business now, and you love it and you have a passion for it. But I just feel like it's that little extra percentage is what you want to attain in the motorsports world.
It's
motorsports being racing. For those people who aren't really into the world, you know, we got NASCAR, F1, racing, motocross, that motorsports world. Yeah. I mean, that's what it encompasses. So
if it has an engine and you're competing, you're racing.
John is the only reason that I know every F1 driver.
Can you name them all now, though? Now that there's a new season.
Dude, we're live. You're gonna put me on the spot.
I mean,
a new season. There's no way in the new season.
I don't even know if I could do it.
Oh, there's no way in the new season. I honestly don't know that I could. If I really sat down and like thought about it, I could. But off the top of my head, I could probably name 10. I feel like it's pretty good
It's
though.
halfway. Yeah.
I watched about half the season this year in 2022, and then Blakely came, and that's
Yeah. I mean,
had a kid, so
yeah.
it is what it is.
I watched probably about 7/8 of the season.
How did we never chatted about it? I don't even know how the season ended up. Who won? Well, I mean, what was it? I feel like such a terrible fan because I was so into it. Like it was like Friday. I'd wake up and be like, "It's Q, let's go," or not Q, it's practice. And Saturday, I'd be like, "It's Q, let's go."
Yeah. Max clinched I wouldn't say super early. He clinched early. He clinched. I think.
Shocking.
I try to erase it from. No, I'm just kidding. I guess at the point where
it's
how
like anything
how
else
I
you
feel
don't like, yeah,
about it and
it's
stuff like
okay.
that. It's like,
yeah.
but if I were to be, there's a couple of videos that I'll show you afterwards. But no, I think Max clinched probably a couple races early, and Red Bull had the constructors championship as well, and
they got both.
Yep, they got both.
Where'd Lewis end up?
They did solid. Lewis,
remember?
Oh goodness.
I like Lewis. I like him as a person. I think he's a great dude. I mean, hell, he owns the Broncos a little bit too. How could you not like him?
I know.
Y'all just got Sean. I know we're segueing, but y'all just got Sean Payton.
Yes, sir.
Dude, being a Saints fan my whole life, I was like, dude, am I gonna have to be a Broncos fan this next year too?
Now here's gonna be the thing. It's gonna be just like this past year. Like, oh my God, they got Russell Wilson.
But I mean, what was his face before? What was his face before the coach? Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, I thought you were talking about before.
Trash.
I mean, everyone had it's just exciting. Russell Wilson, Hackett's coming in.
I also think Sean is going to have an entire offseason to learn. I mean, Sean's been in the league so long as a head coach. He knows who Russell Wilson is. He knows how to play his game. So he's got an entire offseason to write a new playbook for the Broncos to where Russell Wilson is the staple. And if Russell Wilson wants a play action pass to the left-hand side and a 6-yard pass, guess what? That's going to be 12 of the plays, Bubba, because it may not be pretty, but they'll get down the field. Sean Payton doesn't give a shit about pretty.
If it works,
if you watched him in the last, I'm a Saints fan, so I know this, but if you watch Sean Payton in the last 3 years of the Saints, when Drew Brees is at his, I wouldn't say decline, he was still pretty high, but I mean, he's not launching the ball 60 yards down the field anymore. They just wasn't doing it, and that's okay. He would admit that to yourself right now if I could talk to him. Pass out first, and then I would talk to him, right? But he would admit that. And then the last year he was there, I mean, the game was not, we're going to run and gun and be the Kansas City Chiefs. We don't have that kind of pure power. I feel like Sean Payton has the same team that he had the last year at the Saints or the year before last, because he got Russell. I mean, I'm not putting Russell in the category of Drew Brees by any means, but he's got Russell.
There's a solid wide
There's
receiver
an athlete there. Solid wide receiver core. He's got
running back
decent
situation. Depends on if Javonte comes back. That could be a solid running back situation.
Draft a running back. Hell, look at Pacheco.
Yep.
I mean, he's a late rounder. Money bag.
In fantasy, but it didn't really work out for me in the end.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I beat John in fantasy. So I have first place. He got second place.
Can't believe I benched Higgins.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be good. I'm not gonna be like the rest of the country and be like Broncos 12-6, whatever.
No, I'm not
playoffs.
Saying that.
I'm like Broncos 8-8. That'd be a great year.
If we can get within 2 years, if we can get into the playoffs. I'm not
or
gonna be like, we need a Super Bowl now.
This year.
No, it's gonna take time, but
that's a big win. I think it's a huge win.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm gonna be like, damn, I gotta cheer for the Saints and the Broncos because I love Sean. I can't not cheer for Sean Payton.
Everybody's probably wondering, this guy's from Connecticut, and he's now down in Texas. How is he a Broncos fan?
Yeah. And who's your baseball team, though?
Yankees.
Okay. There's true gross Yankee fan.
And then now my Brooklyn Nets basketball team is slowly but surely falling apart again.
I didn't know you were a Nets fan.
Mm-hmm. Now Kyrie's requesting a trade.
Really?
By the deadline this Thursday. Yep.
So you'll know here pretty quick.
Uh-huh. So, well, he's probably going to be gone. Just where he goes and what we get. Yeah. They could have had it with Harden, KD, and Kyrie. Wow.
I'm just not a huge basketball fan. I mean, I know the names. But
Jen always tells me, you don't even like basketball. Why you watching basketball? Where did I go to school? Jen. UConn? I got super lucky there, too. The amount of national championships those teams brought in.
The women's team was pretty good, too, up there, right?
I think they had, I don't think they went all 4 years. I think they had 3 national championships when I was up there. The men had my freshman year and my senior year.
I mean,
it was so cool.
It was so cool. Yeah, that's a basketball capital up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Football? Yeah, no. Football's They're getting better. They did better this year, but yeah, other than that, that's why I was also part of the car club, so kind of looping that back in. Car club. Once you get around motorheads.
What is that?
So Yukon Car Club was just a bunch of people that had a passion or love for cars, and we would meet. Was it weekly? Maybe bi-weekly? I'm not sure. But we would meet all together and just talk cars. We would go on cruises. We would host an annual show, and as a car show, like a big show at the football stadium, and hundreds of cars would show up. So, yeah, I mean, the passion went all the way through there, and I think the way that I saw or how I realized that this is the end-all goal. This is my dream high up in the sky. If I were to be able to achieve that motorsports and be able to be I'm not going to say a physiotherapist because I'm not a physiotherapist. It's a physical therapist, so what it is,
sure,
licensure. Yeah. But if I were to be let's just say a trainer, we'll just throw it out, or a coach for a driver on their physical preparedness for the racing season.
That's your mecca, right?
That
there.
is my yes. Yep. And I
God,
think
so
it was
cool.
senior year when I saw a photo of Nico Rosberg.
Mm-hmm.
And his.
I know who that is now. Aren't you proud of me?
Yeah, he beat Lewis Hamilton in the same machinery.
Hey.
If anyone. Yeah,
you know? That's okay. We're doing our own thing. We're having a conversation.
He says it all the time. But there was a photo of him with his physio, Daniel, and Daniel, I'm assuming, was holding some air duct, and Nico was in the car, and he was just giving him cool air. And I saw that, and I was like, physiotherapist, and it says his name, Daniel. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it says his name, and I was like,
I want to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was like, I love motorsport. I was watching Formula One, so I was like, I did a little more research, and at that point, I was just like,
had you ever thought about it before then?
Can't say I had.
I mean, I would never have thought about it until you have brought it up to me, wanting to do that. And then I feel like such an idiot because you get like these other very, American sports, football, basketball, baseball, soccer over here, but, that's more of a worldwide thing. But, I mean, you don't think Tom Brady has a dude?
No.
Well, maybe not anymore. R.I.P. But, yeah, he probably still does. He wants to stay in his physical condition. But Patrick Mahomes, you don't think he has a guy that lives in his house in the guest house who cooks his meals? One guy cooks the meals, one guy trains him, solely.
Bobby.
Why isn't there somebody like that for F1?
Has his right hand man as his I'm gonna say performance coach sort of a deal, Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah, but why can't you have that for F1? And they do have that for F1. That's what I'm saying. But in my head, I'm like, oh, they don't have that. Why would they not have that? You're an idiot.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that would be super cool.
Those are. I think it's tough when you have a. I'm not gonna say when you have a significant other, but if you have a family. So if I were to have a family, it's going to be tough because you just got to think. There's
it's not an American
races in
thing, right?
20 plus, and you're constantly traveling across the world. That's a part of it.
I mean, F1 season starts when? At least F1. I mean,
testing in March. Testing in March, I believe, and then it starts all the way in pretty much March all the way through December.
Christmas,
and there's a slight little break in the middle of the year in the summer, and it's a long haul.
And I mean, we're talking about for people who aren't associated with the sport. I mean, you're traveling to countries.
You go. I mean, it's
U.S. a couple times now, Europe, Asia, South America. Is there a track in South America?
There used to be. I don't know if they're racing there right now.
Anyway, I mean, it's show up on a.
Oh, South America. Yes, I thought you said South Africa. South America. Yes.
South America. Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I mean, it's show up on a Monday or whatever it is, and you got practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, queue on Saturday, race Sunday. 700 people packing your shit up to fly out or go somewhere else and crazy. To be somewhere else Monday, and then you got to prepare for that race. I mean, you're a professional athlete.
I think they fly in. I mean, probably a lot of the techs and stuff like that fly in or wherever. Maybe even driving if they're in Europe because all the teams are in Europe. But it's pretty much get in there Tuesday, Wednesday. Probably drivers and people show up Wednesday. You probably have press Thursday, practice Friday, practice Saturday morning, Saturday, then qualifying, and then the race.
Saturday morning to us.
Depends on how they. Yeah. Oh, I'm up every single time. Jen hates it.
Yeah, because it starts. Most of the time it's over in Europe or on the other side of the world. So like to them, it's like, oh, Q1 starts 2:30 p.m. to them. Well, that's 3 a.m. to us or whatever it is. So
I think, and I could be completely wrong with this, but I think since Drive to Survive has come out and there's been a much greater popularity, or just the boom here in Americas from. Or at least the United States, or for Formula One. I feel like the times, for the most part, of the races have been a little bit more bearable, as in like it's a 7, 8 a.m., 6 a.m. race.
Oh,
but
yeah.
beforehand it was like 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. It's just like, oh god, I gotta get up for that. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, the race is at 10 a.m. The race is at 8 a.m. I was like, since when did it become what? When?
Full disclosure, I didn't really get into it till this calendar year, 2022, not 2023. And John was always talking about, I was up at 4:30 for the race, and I'm like, you're a psychopath,
that's nerd.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I'm glad you like it. And then I, started to get into it and watch Drive to Survive on Netflix. It was pretty cool.
Good place to start.
A good place to start. The first few seasons are a good place to start, and then you need to have a friend like John to talk you through the last couple seasons because they're super dramatized and, whatever. We won't get into it, but anyway. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna start watching these races. So I was practicing Q1, and you were always like, I'm waking up at 4:30, and I was like, you know what? It's cool. I'm getting into something else. If anything, if I don't like it, I'm learning about something that one of my good friends likes to, and we have something to talk about, and I'm okay with that. Being a friend. And you get into the first couple races, and I'm like, all right, I'm making this commitment. Let's watch these races. And it's like starts at 8:30, and I'm like, this ain't bad. Next one comes around next weekend. I'm like, 7:30. I'm like, okay, a little bit earlier, whatever. And the next weekend comes around, it's like 9 a.m. start. I was like, what is John bitching about this whole time? It's like
4:30.
Yeah.
What?
2022 season was unprecedented for start times, like you were saying. It was like 7 a.m. was early. Whereas in the past, you were like, 4 a.m. That's pretty typical because like I said, it's on the other side of the world. So I don't know what switch happened or anything, but yeah, that's crazy.
It may have also been just because of certain races not being on the docket or on their schedule anymore. But that is what it is. But yeah, no, I mean, that would be the dream someday, and I would love to be able to.
You just have to move.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
we're deep in hard Texas here.
Yeah, at least we're not in Alabama. You know what I mean? It'd be so cool to do that, though, man. I've always wanted to. I don't have a passion for it like you do, but selfishly, I've always wanted you to like do it so I could live vicariously and see like John's Instagram and be like, damn, that's fucking sick. Or like, damn, I want to go do that. Or call you up and be like, hey, I'm going to come to Europe. Can we hang out for a little bit or whatever? Like, I've always wanted you to do that for selfish reasons, obviously. And then unselfishly, I want you to follow your dream.
And I think, the travel is, it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing to be in all these countries, just kind of like being able to travel to Canada, Trinidad and Tobago, and understand and kind of immerse yourself. But I think the one part is you're going to be the right-hand man to this driver because it's all about their physical preparedness and make sure that they can perform the best for themselves and the team for the championship, whatever they're chasing. Again,
another sport that I wouldn't first introduce somebody to, but watching Drive to Survive, and they really show a lot of Daniel Ricciardo's, his trainer. They're like best friends, right?
Michael. Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do you.
The problem is I can like list every single one of them.
Yeah. So they show a lot of him, and seeing that, you don't understand the amount of physical power,
the amount of arguments I get into about this stuff.
I mean, on the outside looking in, you don't know anything about racing, NASCAR, F1, whatever. Say I'm being that guy. Well, you're just sitting there driving a car. Okay, sit there and drive a car, to my understanding, without power steering for like 4 hours, going 200 miles an hour the whole time, being hyper focused so you don't die. And then, if you've never seen an F1 steering wheel, they call it the cockpit, and for good reason. There's like 1.5 million buttons just on the steering wheel.
It's unbelievable.
And then you got toggle switches everywhere. I mean, it looks like an F1 fighter pilot. Literally an F1 fighter pilot is hopping in there. And I never understood the physical capacity of it because I've seen NASCAR and stuff like that, whatever. Same physical capacity. And I'm like, oh, they're just driving a car. Like, I'm sure it's hot sometimes, whatever. You're doing a race in Texas, sure. That ain't the half of it. I mean, the hyper focus you have to have mentally and things I can't even begin to list that you know about.
It's really cool. There's actually a study that came out, again, just kind of nerding on this here. There's a study that came out that was kind of comparing, I think it did NASCAR. No, it did NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar may have been thrown in there, and then more of like a sport, like a sports car championship. I think so. That's kind of like you take a Porsche GT3 race car, kind of like a Le Mans race sort of a deal.
Okay.
And I think it just kind of compared them and compared like what their body fat, their height, their weight, all kind of the metrics there. They had looked at stuff as in, I think, neck strength and just strength of the body. So there were certain things that they were looking at VO2. I mean, it was crazy to see the difference of all of them. And yeah, I mean, it's you have to think you're traveling from between, just say 2 weekends, one part of the country or one part of the world. You have to travel to this next one. You have to get ready to, but as you're saying, drive a car. IndyCar is the one that's no power steering. Formula One does.
It does. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know.
And then, as you were saying, you're going.
I mean, power steering or not, dude, you're going so fast.
Your turn. It's the amount of the G4. It's
different.
It's different.
It's cool.
Different. It is very.
If
cool.
you haven't gotten into it, you need to get into it.
Yep.
I don't know that you need to quite get into it like John gets into it because he has a passion for it, but get into it on the realm. I've got into it and just watch the races and shit.
Yeah, just be a fan.
Yeah,
you don't have to. No.
Go watch Drive to Survive on Netflix. I think it's a good series to it helped me a lot understand the sport. I think they do a good job of understanding it. It's a little dramatized, but it's a drama TV show.
It makes a good TV show. Is
Amen.
Really what it does.
It is. The drama is enough for the TV show. If you're someone like John, you can't. It's the drama sucks because you understand the sport. But someone who didn't understand it, I enjoyed the little bit of drama you got because it kept you intrigued as a TV show. Netflix did a good job, but I would go watch that if you want to get into it at all. For sure, start there.
Good place to start. It's a great series. The new one comes out here in like 20-something days, something like that. I don't know.
There's
late
a
February.
new one.
Yep, next season. So it should be good.
I don't even remember how the last.
I'll watch it all
in
in one sitting, and we'll go from there.
How'd the last one end up? Do you remember?
Yeah, the World Championship. How the World Championship ended.
Which was enlighten me.
Max overtaking Lewis after Latifi crashed.
Oh,
Lewis couldn't get in the pits to change his tires and then they were saying that they weren't going to pull the safety car in, and then they pulled the safety car in. And
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, Lewis was in front, and they were not going to pull the safety car.
Man. I remember that race like the other day.
We're not going to pull the safety car, so Lewis decided not to pit, and Max pitted, and then they pulled the safety car, and Lewis got screwed.
And if they had pit, then Max probably would have overtaken him because I think the delta there was a little bit too close.
The time,
yada,
the
yada,
gap.
yada,
Yeah, all the things you need to know.
It's racing. Motorsport happens, sports.
So how'd you get into it? I mean, like, why this? I mean, that's such a not a weird, but I'm gonna use the word weird. It's such a weird thing to have a passion about when majority of the country has no passion for it.
Yeah.
How'd you get into it?
So my dad used to race when I was young. He had raced since I don't even know how old he was, but he's always been either racing dirt bikes to open wheels, so kind of Formula cars, we'll call it that. Then he got into stock cars, so NASCAR. It was called the Busch North Series back then. So kind of like that second tier down, not the big name guys, but right beneath it. And then he raced against guys that were coming up, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. when he was coming up. So he raced.
Really?
Yep. And,
that's cool.
He was definitely. I think it got tough when he had a family, and that's like, as you would expect, you can't really travel to Ohio or Elkhart Lake or Road America, whatever it may have been. Ohio, Mid Ohio, and just all around. But so racetrack was a place that I grew up. Whether I
second home,
there's so many pictures of me like on toolboxes around the cars, sitting in the cars, yada yada yada. So
that's cool.
It was grew up around it, and
he grew up karting too, right?
I did a little bit of karting.
Yeah,
I did a little bit.
Not in the capacity that you're probably thinking, like us having conversation, but just for normal folk like you karted.
I had wished I got into motorsport more.
Yeah.
I didn't. I think my dad wants me to. I won't say get into it, but be able to kind of experience. I've done a couple of driving academy events, if you want to call them that, or programs.
Yeah.
So been able to luckily get on a track and actually drive at speed and understand. I knew it beforehand, but understand a racing line and try to put it together. And it's tough the first time you kind of get out to it and just understanding. And it's a whole lot different than you'd expect compared to just driving a regular just road car on the street. It's fun. It's fun. It's different. It's cool. To me, it's cool being able to control a car. So I just grew up around it when I was young. Been at the track. I love being at the track. That's one thing I I miss being up here, is being at the track. Just there's nothing like it. The smell of the gas, the smell of just the garage, the rubber.
That's your.
It's like your hook. That's
home.
To me. That's like it's a hook.
Yeah.
I love it. I got cars back home in Alabama that I gotta fix up. My dad's probably gonna kill me unless I sell those stupid things. They're just sitting in this garage.
Hey, you'll get to it
At some point.
You're young.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
And Jen's gonna be like, "Why are you bringing these here to Texas?" Dad, listen, babe. Don't worry.
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
See what had happened.
I need
was.
a little. No, but that'll be a fun part, especially now. If at some point my dad were to retire and be able to travel over there at some point to be able to just build cars with him. I know he has a couple of things that he's got in his garage to be able to build that. That'll be just kind of a cool thing, a cool passion to be able to do. He actually, this is a cool story. I may have told you this at one point. It may have been in college. I was on automotive forums. I mean, I should have been studying.
Been there.
Yeah.
Well, not automotive. Been there.
I was on forums all the time, and I just came across this one forum. I don't know what it was, but I found a gentleman had, I guess, bought one of my dad's old race cars when he was selling them because he was either getting out of the league or whatever it may have been.
Okay.
So it was an old, I think it was a Formula V. It was a Formula car, so it was an open wheel car, and so I found it and I messaged the guy, and I was just kind of chatting with him just to say, I'm the guy that drove this car. I'm his son, sort of a deal. So I was just trying to keep in touch with him in case he were ever to sell it. And I was going to be like, I want to buy it. The guy never finished it, so I wanted to buy it. And I didn't know what he was going to do with it, but I wanted to buy it and be able to like gift it back to my dad.
Sure,
and,
yeah, that's cool.
Something that I would have loved to do. I get a text one day from my dad of him driving his Jeep with a trailer behind it, and there's like this parts of a car sitting on it. I'm looking at it, and I zoom in, and it shows another picture.
I've seen this car.
And it would just open. It was just a chassis, so it's just the wheels and just kind of the frame of it. And I was looking at this thing, and I'm, wait a second.
No.
And I was like,
no, he did it.
I was like, is that what I think it is? And so yeah, it's my old. I'm just gonna say Formula V. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but it was my old Formula car. I was like, no way. I was like, where'd you get that from? It's like, well, one of my buddies told me that it was on this forum, and I reached out to the guy, or we got in touch. And I literally tell him, hey, was the guy's name? I should say John Smith. Was the guy's name John Smith? That wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? And he was like, yeah. How'd you know? I was like, I reached out to him about a couple years ago asking about that car. So he has the exact same car that I was going to try to buy.
Oh my god!
So he has that car.
That's pretty cool though.
That's sitting back in Alabama. So I would love to be able to fix that thing up and then be able to take it to a track someday, an open track there in Alabama, and be able to shred that thing around.
Dude, all the feels, right?
Man.
God, you'd cry like a bitch.
I would absolutely. I was just gonna say, I was gonna
just
cry.
knowing you and knowing how I would react, I'd cry like a bitch.
You saw me cry when Jen walked down the aisle.
You saw me cry.
Dude, there was like freaking rivers, just like I don't know what's happening. Yeah, that would.
Your body just takes over.
That would be me, and that's just where the passion for motorsport kind of came about, and I've loved it. Always loved being around cars and stuff like that, and would love to someday put that together, be able to support someone and their dream while being able to chase my dream. And again, it's just putting my education, passion for motorsports, and my love for helping people out, and whatever else comes with it, comes with it.
That's cool. That's super neat.
So someday I would love for that to happen, and until then, I'm gonna keep chasing it. So
yeah, of course, that's what you do. I like it. Well, I got some hard hitting questions about training. And we're gonna play a little game, and I'm gonna get to see if there's any
game
questions on the chat, and then we'll
game, okay.
and then we'll sign off. But in your world, what is your thought? This is more of on the nutrition side.
Mm-hmm.
What is your thought about? I'm gonna use the word fads of all of the nutrition fads: keto, carnivore, intermittent fasting. I mean, what are your thoughts? Like, what a group? Yes, all are like good, or take it for what it's worth, or what do you think? I only ask this question because I'm currently doing like a modified carnivore diet.
I think each, I'm going to call it a method, would work for certain people. I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong, sir. If you're doing a certain method or a certain preference, whatever you want to call it. There may be certain things that you're, I wouldn't say leaving out of your diet. Yeah, I don't know if I would say that, but certain aspects of a diet that you may be leaving out that are useful for the energy. Food is energy. Whatever you put in your body, your body utilizes it. So it's being able to understand what your body likes, and then going from there. So like right now, I wouldn't say I intermittent fast because I don't really follow a time frame. I just, after I finish eating at night, say 8 p.m., I don't eat again until lunchtime, whatever it is, the next day. I guess it's 12,
11,
6,
noon,
whatever it is.
yeah.
Who knows? I don't know, give or take. So for me, it makes me feel good. I feel good throughout the day. So I think it's, sure, you can try it if it helps you towards the goal that you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
Then something worked. And then is it sustainable long term? For some people, maybe. I personally think having as cliche as it sounds, a well-balanced diet, but being able to get as much as you can, balancing it throughout, getting your macros, your proteins, your fats, your carbs, and being able to balance those and eat those and just, to me, it's whatever works. But I personally like to preach, hey, let's just focus on eating well, eating healthy, and go from there. So I think it's, another scary thing is just, hey, eating healthy or following some sort of a method or a preference that you have. Yes, sure, some people may say, oh, but doing that's so expensive, and maybe
can
expensive.
be.
It can be. There's ways to get around it. There's ways to eat healthy and have quality food and not break the bank. But you have to also think of, hey, if you're not eating healthy, then think of how expensive some sort of an illness can end up being.
Oh God, yeah.
Two sides of the coin there.
I've put it this way, and we may have chatted about this before, but my wife and I have talked about this. In my head, seeing family members go through things before me, and other friends, family members, and just people in general go through either medical conditions or life in general when they're older, you can spend your money in one of two ways, regardless of how much you have. We're going to throw them out the window. You can be young, in our cases, and eat relatively healthy. Now, when I sit here and say relatively healthy and what you're talking about, a well-balanced, relatively healthy diet, we don't have a personal chefs. We're not eating specific macronutrients every second of the day to make our bodies these well-oiled machines. I'm not a high-performance athlete, and that's okay. I'm talking about eating better in general, right? You can either spend your money now and buy better quality foods and put them into your body in hopes, and yes, I said in hopes because it's not always the truth. I'm not going to sit here and say this and then people are like, hey, it didn't happen for me. Well, yeah, it's everybody's different. You can feed your body good things now through the younger years of your life, and so when you get to 70, you don't have any health problems. Or you can do whatever the fuck you want now and then spend your money on health problems. You're spending the money either way.
You are. Yeah.
Jess and I choose to spend it now.
Yeah.
Do we indulge? Yeah. I'm having a couple tequilas. We're going to go get dinner after this with our wives. Have a couple more drinks. Maybe get some pizza. Who knows? I have no idea. That was up to the girls.
But I also think that's one day out of the 7.
One day out of the 7. Exactly.
It's the consistency. You got to
It's a consistency.
You can almost do a little bit of balance, whatever you want to say, 70-30, 80-20. There's so many different numbers. Everyone says something different, but
that's what I've kind of been trying to focus on. Is I started doing some intermittent fasting, what you do, eat dinner and not eat till lunch. This week, David, he been doing intermittent fasting and preaches about it, and I just never did it because I wake up and I'm hungry. It's just me. But I just tried to do it this week, and I actually really liked it. Toward the first few days, I was hungry, and then I just kind of mentally get over it, and then I eat. It was probably about 10:30, 11. I kind of had to push it a little earlier, and then it was later on, during the week. But doing kind of a carnivore thing where it's just meat and veggies or meat and fruits and whatever, and I do that through the week. And then the weekend is Saturday. I'm going to do what I want. I'm still young. I want to go out. Let's do some things. Let's go eat what I want to do. So it's not completely cutting it out. Again, I'm not a high-performance athlete, but it's that during the week that's trying to help me get down in weight, help me with the program that you're running for me and everything like that I think people miss out on. Like, and again, I don't fall into this class, but we were talking about those people that you're trying to help that may not make it to walk their daughter down the aisle because they have some serious medical issues or they're super overweight or whatever. They get scared, in my opinion, on the nutrition side. They're already scared of the physical side because they haven't worked out in God knows how long. They're scared even more about the nutrition side because they think that you're going to come in and make them eat stuffed bell peppers and salads and everything and whatever, all these quote unquote healthier foods, cut out the fats and carbs. Sure. And while there may be some of that, I think the lifestyle changes that you can make and lose a bunch of weight if you're overweight off the rip is like, if you just can't do it and you're running through Chick-fil-A 3 times a week, then get the grilled chicken sandwich, not the fried one. You're spending the same amount of money.
There are definitely
it's
weight.
Not, I mean, it's not this whole big lifestyle change. It's like, oh man, we're going to go out to dinner tonight and instead of a burger, maybe I'll just get a grilled chicken sandwich. Or instead of a burger, I'll get a turkey burger, something a little leaner. You're not changing everything about your lifestyle or what you're eating or at home. It's like, man, we usually have pizza tonight. Okay, get pizza. Maybe do it with like a cauliflower crust. I'm telling you, it tastes the same. I eat them all the time.
I've never tried it, actually.
It's so good.
Really?
I promise, well, you could probably pick it out because you're kind of in that foodie realm. But if I put a pepperoni pizza in front of you and then of the same company, right, it has the same spices and stuff of cauliflower, you couldn't tell the difference. It tastes the same. So I think a lot of people get scared of you, A, physically, and then B, on the nutrition side of what you're going to ask of them. And it is scary, and you're right. But I don't think people understand. It's like, you're not going to go from having chicken wings 3 nights a week and a pizza on Fridays with your kids to eating chef-inspired meals from, whatever one of the delivery services are that everybody's fadding over right now. Just make a simple change. You go out, you have a turkey burger instead.
And it's
or you go out and have 2 slices of pizza instead of 4.
That was one thing I was just going to say. It's understanding how much fuel your body needs, and then understanding with that comes kind of portions and understanding. And that's one thing that I'm not saying that Jen and I have changed, but just at night, just understanding, hey, maybe I'm not going to go back and get another full bowl of pasta. We love pasta.
My biggest weakness.
It's horrible.
My biggest weakness. I can tell myself that I can eat this healthy dish, but I'm eating every fucking bite of it. I promise you. There's not going to be any left on that plate, regardless of how healthy or unhealthy. I'm terrible at it, and I know that's a problem with myself. If we make fried rice at the house, there ain't going to be no fried rice left, Bubba.
Sometimes it's tough. And one other thing that I've tried recently, I've always done this, but eating slow. Like almost setting a timer.
Really bad about that.
Almost setting a timer on your watch or your phone, kind of leaving it there and watching over a 20-minute period or something like that.
Yeah.
And just almost take a spoonful or take a
once
forkful.
A minute or once every 30 seconds.
Chew it, enjoy the taste, enjoy the flavors, put your fork down or your spoon down or your utensil, whatever you want to call it, and just chew it and take a sip of whatever you're drinking, water, and go into your next one. Take your time.
Wow.
And it is, I mean,
I never thought about it.
It's tough to do, but that's like one. It's a technique, and there's a bunch of different things that you can try and learn. But it's exactly that. It's so hard to make a change. It's almost making small changes and building into it. You can't just flip a switch because if you do that, it
ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna stick.
How many people have ever quit anything cold turkey? Yes, there's a lot. Whatever, call me out on it. But in retrospect, between quitting cold turkey and quitting gradually, how many much more success stories are there?
Yeah, and I think it's being able to know how to do it. Some people take it in their own hands and they realize, hey, I need to make a change and go for it. And then others is just, hey, you just need a little edge, just need a little education, these tips and tricks. And it's working with what you have now and then slowly but surely changing it or just modifying it and going from there.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's not easy to do, but
no, it's not.
At the same token, it doesn't have to be this overnight thing.
No.
People are always like, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy and work out on Monday. What does Monday have to do with anything? You're not going to do it right now. You're not going to do it on Monday, I promise. You're not going to have a salad for lunch.
When I start right now, exactly. When I do it.
It's Friday afternoon, and you're about to go get pizza with your family, and then you're going to drink all day on Sunday and watch football. And you think Monday you're going to wake up and magically want a Caesar salad for lunch and want to drink a gallon of water?
I'm going to work out for 2 hours at the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like just go on a walk.
Simple things.
Yeah,
simple things to add to the and it's amazing how your body reacts to stuff like that.
And
Simple stuff.
And I don't want to come off as like high and mighty when I say that. Like, oh yeah, it's so easy for you. Like you're not obese and overweight, and I get that. It's a lot easier for me to do. It is a hard thing to do, and I'm not discounting the fact. But you don't need to look at it as I got to make all these changes overnight.
No, it'll be a tough road inevitably.
For sure.
It'll be, but again, nothing's going to come easy, and the other side of it, again,
more rewards.
Easy for me to say that I've been 160 running track and field in college, sort of a deal, and it's not that I can't relate, but it's more of, hey, if you're hurting, I want to help you get to that where you feel healthy and where you feel you want to get to.
Right.
If that's right, whatever the weight is, maybe you drop 10 pounds, whatever it is, it
doesn't matter. That's what you want to be. Yeah. If you could only do one style of working out the rest of your life, are you lifting or are you doing cardio?
Lifting 9 times out of 10.
100.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Too easy. Like never run another mile, never step on an elliptical.
No, nope.
You just go in the gym and pump. Why?
I'm done with those days.
I've been done with those days.
Yeah. I'll do every once in a while a little like a high intensity cardio or a high intensity
like a HIIT or whatever
it is. Yeah, stuff like that. And then at the end of it, be like, man, I felt good at the end. But you get like the endorphins and all that stuff like that. And but like during it, I'm just like, I'm not what I once was. Holy, this sucks.
I hate it so much, dude.
But no, I think if I had to, I would love to. I mean, someday I would love to have a home gym or have my own spot. I would love to have my own facility, even if it's small scale. That would be another dream of mine. Didn't think it would be a dream. Wasn't really, hey, this is what I'd love to have this. But yeah, someday and be able to just go in there and when it's quiet and
rock some music and be done with it.
Have at it. Yep. That
segues into my next one. You're working out, you're pumping. What's on the AirPods?
Oh God. Depends on the day. Honestly, really depends. Depends on the day. Depends on what I'm
Beethoven,
doing.
Little.
Yeah. No. Typically hip hop, rap.
Yep.
That's probably my go-to.
21.
We're listening, dude. We're listening to Party Right Now by DJ Khaled, and I think it's Quavo and Takeoff are on it too. My God, we would.
I gotta tell you, Hotel Lobby is one of my rips right now.
I think that's a little further down my main playlist right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm pumping. It's like I'm stretching, getting ready to work out, and it's just one of those like, I'm about to get it.
Yeah, that's like we're in between sets, a little rest period. We'll listen to that one. But I think, it's either that or EDM. I mean, I've got stuff where you put the headphones in and you don't even want to think, and it's just screaming at you. I won't say screaming at you, but it's just like bass, and you can't understand any of the words, and it's just you're okay. We're locked in, sort of a deal.
I can't remember what the playlist is on Spotify that I rock, but there's some that is like heavy Slipknot, Korn vibes, and I'm just like, and I'm just like over there rocking it. I get some of those days to where I'm like tuning out the world, and I'm just mad at everyone, and that's what I want to listen to.
When I was doing a program, getting ready I was waking up at like 5:30 every morning before our wedding, and I was just going to the gym. I was driving up to
Not
MJP.
our wedding.
Yeah, I knew I pointed at him. I was going to correct it, but I was like, yeah, maybe they would know, but you never know. So, yeah, before Jen and my wedding, there we go.
There you go.
Our wedding. I was driving up to MJP, and I was working out in the morning. I was doing whatever in my playlist because I really wanted the Jeep at the time. I was really looking for a vehicle, and it was going to be a Jeep.
Yeah.
So the playlist was the 2 headlights and then the grills, and it was rock.
That was the cover music on Spotify?
That was kind of the playlist of it. It was just, hey, if I was driving a Jeep, I would just pull this down. It was all rock, though. It was all rock, and it was just kind of stuff that you would, I wouldn't say sing along to, but you could work out to. So it's either rock, kind of your dance party, your upbeat, high beats per minute, EDM, your kind of trap. We'll say trap. We'll put that in there.
Yeah, trap.
That's part of the
I get some trap sometimes.
The aggressive side of things.
Yeah, I like it.
And then
I'm an aggressive music listener when I work out.
Rap and hip hop. Yeah, it typically has to be aggressive. Oh, it has to be. Yeah. Or else it's just.
Yeah. It's not in it for me.
No, I can't. When I'm working with these MLB guys, we're listening to like country, and I'm sitting here. They make me listen to.
I cannot, dude.
I'm sitting there looking at these guys like, how? One of the guys puts in headphones and he does the thing. I was like, okay, I get it. He's listening to
something
hardcore stuff. He's getting after it, and I love it.
I can't, dude. I'm a 90% country listener.
Whatever floats
Texas
your boat.
country, red dirt. That's what's on in the truck all the time when I'm rocking and rolling. But you can't see it on stream. But the Alexa over there, she only knows how to play rap, hip hop, corn, and Slipknot.
Right now too.
Yeah, probably. She's always listening. She's always listening.
Oh. Yep, nope. That's the way that Jen is country. Get in the car. It's either country, Jen, change it. I don't want to listen to it. Yeah. Listen to a couple songs and my songs.
See, I'm cool chilling to country or going to a
concert
concert or whatever. But when I want to work out, I want to work out.
Yeah.
Or party, honestly. Like later on tonight, we had a couple drinks, come back here, hanging out, no big deal. I listen to a little country in the truck, no big deal. Yeah, play a little pop darts, play a little drinking game, something. There's gonna be hip hop.
No, it was pop darts.
Yeah, there's gonna be hip hop.
Yeah.
On the that's just how it goes.
It's gonna put it all together. One's gonna be hip hop, one's gonna be a little EDM, one's gonna be country. And
Deal
just redo it.
Deal with this. All right, I'm gonna have a little more, and then we're gonna play our game, and then we get to chat.
Oh boy.
So, everybody's seen this on TikTok. It's a fad right now of playing the drafting game, top 5.
Dude, we spent
hours playing this game.
Had to have been.
I mean, it was at least a couple, and then we roped our wives into it. It was a blast.
Yeah.
We're just gonna play.
I'm not sure if they liked it.
I'm not even gonna say one. We're gonna play as many as we fucking want to because that's how we roll it over here. But the first one we're gonna start out with is. So the way this game works is, I'll let John go first, guest of honor in this round, and then I'll go first next round if we play another one. There's a topic, and then in that topic, it's a draft. So, say we're not gonna play this colors, right? Top 5 colors of all time. John goes with red. Solid color.
I honestly was going to say red. My company colors are blue and green, but I was going to say red.
Red is nasty.
Oh, it's aggressive. Absolutely.
I love it. And then, so I can't say red after that because he drafted red, like we're running like an MLB or an NFL draft. So, first one we're going to start with is athletes of all time. Oh, geez. I know we played this one already, but I can't remember who we chose because we've been drinking.
I was honestly trying to think. This is months ago.
All time, any sport, any realm, any era, it doesn't matter. Top 5. What's your first round draft pick?
I think everyone's. I'm gonna go Muhammad Ali.
That's a good one. I mean, he really was the best.
I like that first pick. Yeah. I was going through a couple different people in my head, but I think he's the one that stuck out. It's just like if you were to think of anyone, you would think of a lot of sports. Sure, you can say there's a lot of goats of different sports. Mm-hmm. But I think he is just
he revolutionized the game.
He revolutionized, and yeah, Mike Tyson's there as well. But Muhammad Ali. It is, if you were to listen to any sort of, just to say a motivational speech, and he's in it, and you're just kind of looking at it, just like,
well, think about.
I want to go run through that wall right now.
We weren't around, but think about what boxing was before, and then Muhammad Ali steps of the game. That's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you recognize a GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to come off the curtails of that and go with my pick. And it's a ringer for me because it's not one of the main ones. I got to go Tiger. Think about what golf was. Yes, you got Jack Nicklaus. Yes, you got Arnold Palmer before him. Sure. They're great. They won a lot. Did great things for the sport. Tiger comes along, and he puts golf on the map.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say about Tiger is the Muhammad Ali of golf. So I got to go Tiger, first round draft pick. Greatest of all time.
Let's see. Second pick. I think yesterday was 2/3/23.
Was what?
The
date.
23. The date.
Yeah. 23.
MJ, Michael Jordan.
That's gonna be controversial in the chat.
Oh my God, he's not the GOAT. It's
MJ, LeBron, Kobe, rest in peace.
I
agree with you. There's no argument between us.
I'm just going for
but
it.
In general,
yes,
there's gonna be an argument.
Yes, absolutely.
TikTok's not gonna like that one when I put it on TikTok.
If that's 1-2 between Ali, then Jordan 1-2, and however the rest of it stacks up, I would rather do that. And
hell yeah.
Oh, are we also doing one per sport? That's what we did last time.
I like one per sport.
Okay, cool.
So once the
I'm
sport
done with
has
boxing,
been chosen,
done with basketball.
I am too.
I can't pick LeBron, sort of a deal.
I can't either. Takes off the board for both. You can't pick golf.
Okay, that's new. Okay. I don't know if we did that last time. But
I don't know. Well, let's do it that way.
Okay.
Damn, that changes my second pick. No, it doesn't. Second pick, I'm going to continue to go with revolutionize the game. I got to go big 9-9 Gretz. Wayne Gretzky.
Ooh. I knew you were going to go hockey. I didn't know you were going to go Gretzky, though. That's
Gotta
a good
go
one.
Gretz, dude.
That's a good
Best to ever do it. Nobody's even come close to his records with more technology and more time. There's no competition.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go hockey, and I didn't. I was thinking hockey in my back of my mind. I was like, that may be off the table,
Gretz.
though.
Easy.
Yeah. That's a good one. It's crazy how when we're thinking about this stuff, it's a lot of the. I'm not going to say. It's mainly people that are. I'm going to say retired for the most part.
Yeah.
But people that are no longer in the sport, not necessarily
you're
present
right.
day sort of a deal.
Yeah, it's not like you chose, Patrick or.
I was going to go. Oh crap! Should I go? Nah, I'm going to go baseball. I was going to baseball or football, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go baseball.
Don't do it to me.
Come
on.
This is just why I was thinking about it, but I'm going to go. Mr. Babe Ruth.
Oh God, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
For some reason I was just ringing that came to the back of my mind, came to the front, and I was like, oh hey, but yeah. So I've got Ollie, Jordan, and Ruth. So we got okay.
Ruth, you're killing me. I got to take football off the board from you then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an
I
easy
don't know
pick.
who I'd go with football,
I know that's the hard part. If I got to take the sport off the board too, I gotta try to figure out the athlete I want to take with it. The GOAT of football. Man, that's rough.
It all depends on. I mean, this is your 3 spot.
I know, but if I don't go 3 spot, there's no way you're not going 4 spot in football. That's my mindset. So I got to take the sport. I'm taking the sport right now over the player because I can't lose in the 4th round football. What do I go with? Tennis? I mean, there's some good ones in tennis, but still. Anyway, football, GOAT. Man, there's so many.
There are. Now, this is one where you can almost go present time.
Almost.
Mm-hmm. They're kind of circulating there.
I think I'm going to go with a ringer here. And I am just going to go, maybe not too much of a ringer, but just a ridiculous, well-rounded athlete. Barry Sanders.
Ooh. That's actually pretty good.
I was thinking Montana. My ringer was going to be Ray Lewis. But I just think as an athlete in general, being able to catch the ball out of the backfield and run over anybody in his time, I mean, Barry Sanders was the GOAT.
That's a pretty good one.
So, and I took football off the board from John. So
yep, you did.
Now I got to try to think of 2 other sports. That's the hard part. Actually, 4 other sports, right? Because you got to pick.
I got 2 and you got 2. Let's see.
That's the real advantage of picking first here, is you get the sport.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking went with golf.
We also didn't come up with that rule until round 3, so
That's true. I like the rule though.
yeah.
Makes it a little more difficult.
I think for my 4th round, I think I'm going to go with he's going to bring a very great mental aspect to the team just because the sport is such a mental sport. It is a very athletic sport, but talk about just the mentality you have to go forth into it. And this is one thing that I realized real quick when I started working with one of these athletes. It is a different ball game. It is unbelievable. So I'm going with the tennis route.
All right.
I'm going to go Mr. Roger Federer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I know that he's an animal on the court. I know that the mentality aspect, he's bringing that to the team. Not that the other guys are weak mentally, but I mean,
they're different players.
Yeah.
Just like
absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
I heard something the other day that was talking about how Serena Williams is the greatest tennis player of all time, man or woman, and Serena was like not caught. She outward spoken. She was like, "It's not even a question that's wrong," and she's like, And there's a clip of her one time like warming up or like playing a match before she went in.
Serena.
Huh?
I should have picked Serena.
No, I don't. I disagree. I like Federer pick because of what I'm about to say. She like played a match or whatever against the like 200th in the world ranked male tennis player and got wiped 6-0. Like she's not even close.
I didn't even see that.
On the male side of being like greatest of all time female tennis player, no doubt.
Oh yeah.
One of the greatest tennis players of all time,
athlete.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
But and she even said that she was like, "No, that's stupid. I'm not even like I can't compete with the like I don't know. I just thought it was crazy she said that." But yeah, Federer is a good pick. I like that pick for tennis. I lost my train of thought. 4th round in. I mean, I got to go with one of the biggest sports in the world, soccer.
It's just who you're going to go with. I think I know who you're going to go with.
I know. Who do I go with? Do I go with old shorty boy or old school? My thoughts are either I go Pele, I go Ronaldinho, I go Ronaldo, or I go
the man himself.
The man himself.
Like arguably, who everyone's calling the GOAT.
Yeah, I gotta go with the man himself. I gotta do it. 4th round pick in soccer. I gotta do it.
That's a pretty big sport to take off the table too.
Yeah, it's a huge sport to take off the table.
Let's see, the 5th and final pick for my teams. I got Ali, Jordan, Ruth, Federer. I'm going to my roots.
Racing.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the issue. There are so many different leagues, if you want to call them leagues. You got NASCAR, there's
leagues.
Formula 1.
I mean, you got to go Formula 1 here, right?
What do I want to go like? Either one of the two guys I'm going to pick they revolutionize the sport and the safety side of things. Formula 1, it would either be Ayrton Senna. Many people that are probably watching this would be like, who is that?
I don't even know who that is.
Brazilian, one of the biggest names of the sport. If you ever watch Formula 1, there's a great documentary out. I think it's on Netflix still. Maybe not. Literally called Senna. Unbelievable. Or on the NASCAR side of things, may have to do it for Dale. You know what? This actually hurts my heart to say this. It does.
He's doing it for Dale.
I'm going to bring the Intimidator out. We're doing it for Dale.
I'm doing it for Dale.
Mr.
That's your
Dale,
last pick?
Mr. Dale Earnhardt, number 5.
Your last pick, Dale. So you got who? You got...
I got Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, Roger Federer, and Mr. Dale Earnhardt.
Okay. I got Tiger, Gretz, Barry Sanders, Messi. 5th round pick. I got to like cricket or something at this point, right? How many sports are left?
I think.
Is there competitive chess?
I know one that you could go with. I'm not going to say it.
Man.
If you think about it enough, you're probably going to figure it out.
I mean, I feel like MMA is too much of a technicality. It's too boxing. We got soccer, football, baseball, basketball taken care of, racing taken care of. I could go in my world, archery. Man. I think I'm just going to stick with archery. Do it for the boys. Greatest archer of all time, Levi Morgan. At least in my capacity for what I know about the world. He's probably the biggest, and I'm sure there may be other people that are technically better than him, but the way he carries himself, the way he shoots his bow, the way he focuses on hunting, and secondary to competitive shooting is the way I like to carry my stuff. I gotta go Levi. Who were you thinking I was gonna go with?
You could have gone track and field.
I could have gone track and field. I thought about Olympic Olympic realm, but yeah.
Definitely get down to this when you start eliminating stuff.
I know that's rough, right?
I think it's tough.
That's rough. That is rough. All right, we'll wrap it up.
That sounds good to me. I was trying to think of other ones that wouldn't be cliche and that we haven't done before.
Yeah.
And just.
No, I think we're good. I mean, hell, we've been rocking it out 2.5 hours or something. I like it. I know, right? Time gets away.
Good God.
Time gets away. This one's been fun. I've got your Instagram, both professional and personal, and website in the description of this right now for people who want to watch. Anything else you want to plug? That's it right now?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I have a Twitter, but I don't use it.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, no, that's about it.
If you want to get in touch with John, use the description, use the @ in there, or go to the website and just get a program yourself or do what he's doing over there. Or message me if you feel more comfortable. He's one of my good buddies. I can reach out to him for you and we'll get it done. Once John fixes up me a program to get ready for elk season in September and tax and stuff like that, I'm going to do it, come back a new man, and then we'll figure out how we can share it with you guys so you guys can get it for yourself before elk season comes up. So if I can get that here in the next couple months or so, I can run through it and give you guys 2 months or so to go grab the program and be ready for September. So we're definitely going to do that.
Definitely.
So let me, I'm going to jump out of the chair real quick and go grab my phone. It's on TikTok right now. See if there's any worthwhile questions or people just talking shit, and then we'll wrap it up.
Why do you pick Tiger first?
Yeah, why did you pick Tiger first?
Dale Earnhardt? Who even is that?
Yeah, right. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll in the daily TikTok here. One of my followers wants to know how we're already in the whiskey. This was at 3 o'clock. 3:30.
Oh, that's all part of it.
That's how we roll.
Sipping.
Technically, it's tequila, Alex. But we always take a shot before. Flavor for the night. I am sipping on Corazon. It's right here. Right here. Tequila. It's finished in, if you watch the last Behind the String, it's finished in Eagle Rare bottles. And then John's got
Kentucky.
John's
Street.
got Knob Creek. So Knob Creek's a solid one. I haven't had Knob Creek in a hot minute, honestly. And that's it on TikTok.
Sweet. Simple.
Cool. TikTok, peace out. We're coming off of YouTube here in a second.
If it ends up.
Yeah, if it wants to work. All right. What else? Anything else?
No.
Cool.
Appreciate you having me on. It was
Dude, I appreciate you
fun.
being here.
We'll do it again in the future. Maybe who knows, months, years, whenever down the line, and have some.
Yeah, we'll get some updates and everything like
that.
that. No, it's been a blast. You're starting your own deal, and I'm starting this. It's really hard to get people that want to get on board for nothing in return these days.
Yeah.
And to have somebody that wants to come on the podcast and just chit chat for a few hours about what they do and share it with my community, I appreciate it. So thank you. It means more than you know. But we're gonna go have some fun. So thanks, dude.
Sweet deal.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Let's see here. All right, that's all we got. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Knocked Up After the Shot. This will go to the YouTube channel here in about a half hour when it gets done rendering. If you missed it live, you can go watch the VOD. If you don't like watching it on YouTube or don't pay for their subscription, go over to Spotify tomorrow. I'll have it uploaded. You can take it with you on the go. Listen to it on Spotify. Make sure you hop over to Instagram, TikTok, like those, dropping daily posts over there. I'll also have links to all of what we talked about and everything in Instagram when I post about it tomorrow or on Monday. So we'll figure that out. Thank you, John, for coming. We appreciate it. Until next time, you guys stay knocked up.